Daddy loves you, but you know all that already. You are my girl, my little chamarita girl.
Stay connected through The Link. Each morning on Breeze 93.9 FM.
I'm gone, I'm searching for you.
Keep us on the mic again. Singing the original song.
Yeah.
I'm gone.
So let me tell you about this girl, yeah, she's so fine. And every single day she's running through my mind. And I just wanna call her mine. Because your smile makes my day. And you take my pain away. Oh my darling, love me back. Cause I'm gone, no more trying. I'm gone, I'm waiting for you. Cause I'm gone, no more lying. I'm gone, I'm searching for you.
Baby, won't you come over to my place?
To my place,
I wanna feel your embrace.
your embrace.
So baby, tell me now.
Tell me now.
I wanna love you some way and somehow. Because your smile makes my day. And you take my pain away. Oh my darling, love me back.
Cause I'm gone, no more trying. I'm gone, I'm waiting for you. Cause I'm gone, no more lying. I'm gone, I'm searching for you. I've got you in my heart, in my heart. There won't be anything to tear us apart, tear us apart. So baby, tell me now, tell me now. I wanna love you some way or somehow. Because your smile makes my day. And you take my pain away. Oh my darling, love me back. Cause I'm gone, no more trying. I'm gone, I'm waiting for you. Cause I'm gone, no more lying. I'm gone, I'm searching for you. Cause I'm gone, no more trying. I'm gone, I'm waiting for you. Cause I'm gone, no more lying. I'm gone, I'm searching for you.
Fighting in battlefields, fighting in war, we're fighting politically. The children, they hungry, no roof and she's feeling bad karma.
Born so innocently, born deceased. Tumor 2 inches long. She backflashes into time, she getting slow inside her mind. She realizes where she went wrong. Born as an innocent child, and the street refused to donate them greens. The father has been gone for a while, never heard of or ever been seen.
What would it take to end the hunger of a man's desire to conquer, which leads the people to suffer and live the life in a war, in a war, yeah. Why can't we all get along?
We keep on fighting.
Why can't we all get along?
We must stay united.
Why can't we all get along?
We keep on fighting.
And let me tell you about the things I've seen, I swear it's quite the sight. The kids, they doing drugs and all the leaders like to fight. And when I hear about the war and that they're sending more, I just got to ask myself, just what are we fighting
No roof
for?
over me head, mama, papa always fight. Me brothers and me sisters, we cry. No food on the table, no more hoping we must try. So why can't we all get along? Many soldiers them fighting, I'm fighting in a war we all will never be seen. The family's crying, hurting, and wishing they was home. So why can't we all get along? What would it take to end the hunger of a man's desire to conquer, which leads the people to suffer and live the life in a war, in a war, yeah. Why can't we all get along?
We keep on fighting.
Why can't we all get along?
We must stay united.
Why can't we all get along?
We keep on fighting.
I just want to say, can we all get along? Can we get along? Can we stop making it horrible for the older people and the kids?
Sinya uli di sombranzelten meg et zu ite saluda antes diu hum niga Radzaudzen malakes fredzas durante in todo in memu a nogi distancia gumugubugi palu Zangiman malak guafi Ikonum nasugi airi prebatu la noci nai banderata gaigi pues atan fanni bandera kau Esta pagua pumalapa Giluk tanu man libri Tentanu ti man ko badi stop that. Did it to get into stop that. Did it to get into stop that. Did it to get into stop that. Esti what been my ihilo Jani Biblia ibandera ibandera ngohon yes 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 ibandera ngohon yeah.
Link fam, and welcome to the show. It's Thursday, April 28th, right here on the Link. We're brought to you by Calvo Enterprises, ITD, and Jack in the Box 626. Good morning on you guys. Kahulu. Wipe away the Muga Guasi Chris. Thank you guys. You want to give me a call, 671-637-0094. Cheers. Good morning on you guys. Giman Cafe. Oh, yeah, that's good. Good stuff. What are we drinking? Breakfast blend from Tomas Maglotnia's. It's either Keurig. Now we're drinking the Keurig this morning. Bougie. Good morning on you. Yeah, 627. It is Thursday, April 28th. Here's who's coming up on the show this morning. Well, it's pretty packed. Senator Tello Taitigui has a lot going on in a session. She'll be coming in a little bit later. We're also getting the acting superintendent of the Guam Department of Education, Joe Sanchez. He's coming on too. Also scheduled to get from the Hagatnia Revitalization and what is it? Revitalization Renovation Authority, HRRA. Probably should get that right before 7:30. She's the executive director, Lacia Casil, coming on to respond to just a lot of the concerns that senators had in the session. So that whole Hagatnia Revitalization Master Plan, it is a $500 million investment. I was thinking last night, I was like, that's more than, well, almost as much as the new $1 billion, well, half of the $1 billion healthcare complex, right? So we'll get Lassie on as senators expressed a lot of concerns. So I think the big question is, are they going to vote this down and table it so they can review it further, or is it going to end up passing? We'll find out. We get a little insight with Senator Tello and Lassia's side of things. Good morning on you guys. Also, we're getting the students, I believe, from Simon Sanchez. They're doing a Sharkchella. It's a fundraiser. I know that Superintendent John Fernandez had come out. He came out with some kind of news about Simon Sanchez and delays, or obviously there are some delays with that. And so we'll try and ask Joe Sanchez about that. Good morning, guys. Facebook Live, good morning on you. Boy, oh boy, talking with my friends over at the Guam Election Commission, a very eventful day, you would think, yesterday as the news again. Oh, first of all, guys, this show, I don't care if your ears are Democrat, Republican, Independent. I don't care. You're welcome here. It's open for everybody, guys. Good morning on you. Good morning on you to everybody, regardless of political affiliation. Thank you guys for listening. Good morning. 6:29 now. Yeah, so they got a lot of phone calls over at the Guam Election Commission yesterday. I don't know. I tried to call Miss Maria this morning, but I don't know if anyone, guys, if you're late to the show, late to the week yesterday, the news of the morning was that the Democratic Party of Guam voted with their Central Executive Committee to close their primary election, which means so far, and they're still kind of like trying to figure out all the details of it. I was pretty confused after yesterday's interviews relative to who can actually cast a ballot on the Democratic side in the primary. So Miss Maria Pangilinan had said that as of yesterday, anyone who is registered to vote with the Guam Election Commission and registered as a Democrat, which is only about less than 3,000 people, what she said about 2,500 registered voters on Guam are registered as Democrats, right? It's optional, guys. I didn't even know, so I'm registered to vote, but I didn't select any party affiliation. And I honestly, I don't know. Wasn't any kind of principled stand. I just, in the general, I'm crossing over. I don't vote by party, right? I think a lot of us vote by who we think is going to do the best job, regardless of it's an elephant, donkey, or whatever, right? And so that was the information we got yesterday from Miss Maria Pangilinan, was that only those who are registered as Democrats with the Guam Election Commission would be able to vote in the now closed Democratic primary. So I called her early evening yesterday just to ask, was there any new information that has changed since, our discussion in the morning? She said no. So that's where it stands. I know it's on the front page of the paper. We reported the heck out of it. And so, yeah, that's it is what it is right now at this moment. Less than 3,000 people are slated to decide who will advance to face off, well, not just in the gubernatorial race, right, against former Governor Felix Camacho and Senator Tony Yata, but also the senatorial, because I'm hearing the Democrats, they've got a bunch of senatorial candidates. And so you got to wonder, too, I was thinking last night, if you're out running as like a legislative candidate or even a congressional candidate, right? Senator Talina Nelson on the Democrat side has also thrown her hat. I don't know if I've ever seen her in a hat, maybe at the military. She's thrown it into the ring, right? And so you got to wonder in a primary like that, if you're only preaching to about 3,000 people, presumably, right? It's so early and this could change, but wow, it's very, it seems like a very delicate situation with all of the timelines that are set forth in law for the Guam Election Commission. Like they have to do a bunch of things that they always do for every election. And with the calendar, it'll be like they have to send out the absentee ballots by, X amount of days before the primary election. They got to do this X amount of days before, the primary election. So, will this affect the timeline for the primary? We'll see. I don't know. There's a lot of emotion. I feel like people are maybe still confused about what they're going to do with this primary election because it just happened, right? We don't know if anyone is going to file a lawsuit or if there's going to be any further action with the Democratic Party of Guam or what's going to be decided in the Guam Election Commission board meeting that Miss Maria Pangilinan had said was scheduled for, I think, next week, right? Pending any, it kind of seems like they would have an emergency meeting, though, because it's a huge development, right? This has never, ever been done before in the history of Guam elections. But, that being said, the parties have had the ability to close their primary elections since 2004. And I was thinking last night, had this been done, further in advance, do you think that people would have been, more okay with it? I think the people I'm talking to, there was that initial shock, right? That, okay, we can close the primary? Yes, the parties can close the primary. But I think now as people are waking up, right, because it is what it is, how do you adjust to this new development with the primary election? Well, how do you adjust is if it's important to you, you go and you re-register to vote and you declare your party as a Democrat if you're going to be voting in the Democratic primary. I mean, I'm just saying that's the remedy, right, for the situation as it stands right now, and it remains to be seen what kind of developments. I mean, if any, is there going to be changes? If somebody sues, is this going to throw off the whole timeline of the primary election? Who knows? Who knows? But we could spend 3 hours on what ifs, right? But we're just not going to know. That being said, I didn't re-register yesterday because, again, I want to kind of give it a few days just to see what's going to happen with this. Good morning on you guys, by the way, 6:34. Good morning, Facebook. Facebook Live. Good morning on you. See what we got here on our KUAM News Facebook page. Angel Pete Quintanilla Castro. Good morning, Familian KUAM News. Manasseh Dulles. All have a good day and be safe. You too. Chamarita Regis checking in from beautiful hillside of Sinania. Hafide, good morning. Ken Paulino, Mark Tyron, James Wolford, Susu Suico, F. Glenn Lujan, and the whole gang. Angel Pete says, good morning, Bobak. Welcome back, brother. Thank you. So good to be here. I actually came back yesterday to this news about the closed Democratic primary. It was just really talk about hit the ground running, sir, huh? Yeah. Joe, sir, on the ones and twos, by the way. He's handling all the cameras and the technical stuff here for the show. Rosemary Laguania, good morning on you. Marcy Flores. Bev Tess Figuerer Solis, good morning, Bobak. And DJ Joe, sir, from today's road. You get it? Chalampagu. Yes, good morning on you. Who else we got here? Good morning, Maria. Emma Fernando Olalia. Good morning on you. Right on. Thanks for joining us. Susa Suico, good morning on you. Ben Kai Santos, thank you. Marcy, again. Mama Bear, Debbie Davis. Good morning, Mr. Roberto Fracassini. Buongiorno, Guam. Cheers, sir. And good morning. Hope you had a good swim this morning. Doreen Pareda, Manasseh Dulles, and Hafide, Guam, USA. Good morning. Tony Martinez. Good morning, Chris. Manasseh Dulles. From Mongmong to Mighty. Like my friend Andy Wheeler used to say, the greater Tri-Village area. The CQ. Good morning, Tautau Inalahan. Good morning, Guam and the NMI. Yes, good morning, CNMI. Good morning, Butt. F. Glenn Lujan. Good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday. You too, my friend. F. Glenn Lujan. Public school teacher, working hard. Also eating very well. I follow him on Instagram. Leslie St. Nicholas, buenas and happy Thursday. Vanessa Barcinas checks in. Good morning on you. Good morning, Mike Gogui. Good morning, my friend. Good morning, Senator Barnett. Come on, Mike. Mark Santos, closed Democratic primary paid for by the people. Yes, we're still paying for the primary election. Open, close, however, we're paying for it. Amos Ueda, buenas, Chris, coming from Las Vegas. Hey, good morning on you. Good luck. Margarita Cassinger, good morning. Jovi Castro, good morning. Chamarita Regis has a comment here early. What's the difference when you can cross over in the general, Democrat or Republican? It's who will stand up for the people. They're lawmakers. Primary election doesn't matter. It's the general election. Just saying. Well, there's an interesting perspective. Bernardo Anchetta, good morning, KUAM. Marcy Flores, Bobak, sure happy to hear and see you back. You make my day. Marcy, thank you so much. I make your day what? I make your day good. Thank you, Marcy. You're too kind. The Balbins. Good morning, Balbins. Good morning. Good to see you too. Cecile Regis. So it will be a waste of our time to go out and vote if only 2,500 people will be accounted for. So the remaining votes will be trashed. Well, Cecile, that hurts to see someone who thinks it's going to be a waste of time to go out and vote. I'm going to say, regardless of the political maneuvering, right, which is to be expected because it's an election, a political election, a partisan political election, there's going to be maneuvering. It's the nature of the game, right? And that doesn't mean that our vote is worth any less. In fact, I think it's incumbent upon us to do what we have to do. I mean, if they're putting up hoops to jump through in order for us to cast a ballot in, whatever election, then the way I look at it is it's a sacred duty and a right for me to cast a ballot. So if I have to re-register and declare myself, if I'm voting in the Democratic primary, right, that's if you guys are, then so be it. As of today, if it changes in a couple of weeks, then yeah, but I'm going to do what I have to do to get out there and cast that ballot if I'm voting in the Democratic primary. And I think you should too. And your vote is worth just as much whether you're voting in a closed or an open primary. It might be worth more if you're voting in a closed one. Robert L. Crisostomo, the ship has sunk before leaving the dock. Good morning. Tony Augustine, good morning, Brother Chris. Good morning, my friend, Rich Ray. Good morning, KUAM team. Good morning, Chris. Peter Santos, of course, one of the big MSN fans, comments in here. MSN is a master gaslighter, and it really shows. You'd think gaslighting would decrease with the price of gas, what it being what it is. You know what I mean, sir? At 640 right here on the link. Let's go ahead and get into official business, guys. Let's clock in. Our first look at news here with the KUAM news team. By the way, my name is Chris. We're getting the students at Simon Sanchez. They're doing a big fundraiser. It's called Sharkchella. That's coming up. We'll keep it education with the acting superintendent, Joe Sanchez. John Fernandez is off island, so Joe is handling the duties over there at GDOE along with the management team. Senator Tello Taitagui also scheduled to come on. And then we're getting Lasia Casil from HRRA to talk about this huge Hagatnia master plan, Hagatnia redevelopment master plan. It's a 640 again. Our first look at news from the KUAM news team. It is our link update right here on the link. My name is Chris. Good morning.
This news update is brought to you by Pacific Points. Do more, get more.
Hafa-day, good morning. Here are your headlines on the link. In a stunning move with major campaign and voting implications, the Democratic Central Committee voted overwhelmingly Tuesday night to close their primary election. Nestor Lecanto reports.
In a 30-5 vote with 1 abstention and 15 no-shows, Democratic Party officials approved an amendment to their bylaws to allow for a closed primary. They must also give advance notice to the Election Commission as required under a 2004 Superior Court ruling. And while that's been on the books for the last 18 years, this is the first time it will be invoked. Party Chairman Tony Babauta.
The action by the CEC taken last night was to preserve the votes of those voters who have decided to register and affiliate themselves with the Democratic Party. It preserves those votes.
The action comes a week after gubernatorial challengers Michael San Nicolas and running mate Sabrina Salas Matanani filed their candidacies. And San Nicolas, in a statement, blasted it as, quote, a political move by the Lou and Josh team to deny people their freedom to vote for whom they choose in the primary. But the move is also seen as a way to block Republicans who don't have a contested primary from crossing over in what Babauta says is called raiding.
There seem to be some frustrations that were expressed by longtime Democrats that they don't want their vote to be watered down. They want to preserve the vote of registered Democrats to elect those candidates who decide to run as Democrats to be the standard party bearers in the general election, and they bear the values of the party.
Salas Matanani raised the possibility of their team running on an independent ticket if Democrats, she said, are going to deny people their right to choose regardless of party. Babauta countered that he believes it could actually energize the Democratic base, and he deflected any notion that the move was to favor the incumbents.
There was very little talk about anything about the gubernatorial campaign, and when there was, I reminded everyone who was representing Democrats from their villages that what's being put before them is not put before them to the betterment or to the detriment of any Democratic candidate that's running for office. What this does is it empowers Democrats and preserves their votes in a Democratic primary to select the standard party bearers into the general election.
The official notice of a closed primary must be submitted to the Election Commission by June 28th. For KUAM News, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
The rare move to close the primary election is raising more questions than the Election Commission has answers for. GEC Executive Director Maria Pangilinan was a guest on Wednesday's Link Show. Host Chris Barnett and his viewers have plenty of questions. Here's a sampling.
When I go to vote in this Democrat closed primary, would I be able to cast a ballot in the Democrat closed primary if I did not declare to you guys and to everybody, as God is my witness, that I am in fact a Democrat?
Again, Chris, it would be dependent on what the board decides finally, based on what the Democratic Party lets us know how they want it conducted.
Are you concerned at all about privacy issues? I mean, for a lot of reasons, voters may not.
As always, the Guam Election Commission must follow the law, Chris. And if that, deters the voter participation, that's something that we need to deal with. It's not clear to me whether it's the Guam Election Commission voter registry of Democrats, or is it a Democratic Party of Guam list of Democrats that is to be used. I'm not clear on that, and I'm not sure which one they prefer to be used.
If I am a Republican and I want to support Lou and Josh, am I eligible to cast my vote in the Democratic primary?
That's a good question, and it would, we will look into it and see what happens.
So many unanswered questions. 4 months to sort this out. Is that enough time?
We always wish we had more time. We have very critical timeline. And one of the most critical for us, the Guam Election Commission was sued, is that ballots must be mailed out no later than 45 days before any election to our military and overseas voters.
Yeah.
And for the primary, that would be sometime in mid-July. The next regular meeting of the Election Commission is scheduled for May 5th. And a serious crash happened Wednesday in Manila involving a motorcycle. At around 1:30 Wednesday afternoon near the Route 10 mobile gas station, a man possibly in his late 20s or early 30s was taken to Naval Hospital Guam with CPR en route following a serious auto motorcycle crash. Also parked near the scene of the crash was a gray Nissan Cube, which appeared to have sustained damage. Roads were closed for a couple of hours as officers from the Guam Police Department Highway Patrol Division conducted their investigation. According to GFD spokesman Kevin Riley, an off-duty GFD emergency dispatcher initiated CPR on the scene before other first responders arrived. The condition of the motorcyclist is not known as of this time. And in our next story, Daniel Perez reports on the issue of homelessness on the island of Guam. Here's more.
From Ipao Beach to Paseo, you may even see some of the island's homeless in your own villages, but do you ever stop and wonder why they ended up that way? We spoke with one resident, Jonah Parajas, who shared why he's currently on the streets.
We have hardship everywhere, everywhere we go, and maybe our families don't click with one another with us, and we choose not to be a burden on anybody, so we just want to come out, and try and manage it ourselves.
Parajas said even though he is homeless, it doesn't mean he isn't getting any help. Right now, he's getting assistance from a new program and waiting on the completion of the new homeless shelter. As we reported, the Office of Homelessness Assistance and Poverty Prevention is setting up a new shelter in the Hagatnia area, and according to Parajas, that's where he'll be headed.
We just got into a program called HUTSA, and they help us with public assistance and housing, so So I'm grateful for them.
Osapong Malon, another homeless resident, used to stay in a shelter run by Catholic Social Services, but it all went south when he was given a roommate.
When the guy come in my house, roommate, I don't like him. He always bothered me. I tell the office at the bottom, this guy, he always bothered me or take my stuff. I don't like it.
Malone added that even when he reported the disturbances to Catholic Social Services, they did nothing to help him with his bothersome roommate. In the end, it was Malone who decided to leave the shelter. He is, however, much more fortunate than some, as he still has a job to go to. The issue of homelessness on the island is very widespread, and almost everyone who steps foot outside their home sees it. Concerned resident Emily Rosebrand would like to see something done soon to help the islands less fortunate.
I hope that we can, do some things to combat it, like mental health services and, just more affordable housing as opposed to kind of pushing those people away because they need help. They just don't have the resources.
Daniel Perez reporting for KUAM News.
All right, thanks, Daniel. And over in the NMI, after months of gridlock, the legislature has finally passed a bill that fulfilled Governor Ralph Torres' promise to pay NMI retirees a bonus. This comes after he made that promise in December, just before the Christmas holidays. Here's more. The legislature at a compromise instead of at each other's throats.
We're finally coming together and finding a resolution to this matter. We've seen it go in numerous different directions, and it became really worrisome for our own retirees.
Retirees will get a $1,000 bonus after House Bill 22-95, as amended by the Senate, passed with 16 votes. Democrats say this was the right way.
In the form of legislation, as an amendment to the Budget Act, originating in the House as constitutionally required, identifying the sources of funding, and without granting unlimited 100% reprogramming power to the governor, which now the administration acknowledges, the Department of Finance acknowledges, was never necessary in the first place.
It will take just over $2.6 million to pay out the checks through a business unit with local funds. It now heads to Governor Ralph Torres' desk, where he can finally fulfill his Christmas promise. And during this month's Island Beautification Task Force meeting, Department of Public Works Director Vince Arriola gave an update on improvements to village roads as well as federal highway projects.
We've just finished Agate last week. We did about 5, if not 6 roads in Agate. And then we did 3 roads in Tamuning. In the Parisville area, that was all completed. We are just wrapping up in Talopopo. I think we wrapped up over the weekend in Talopopo. We did some major roads, and the roads that we're repairing, as you know, Lieutenant Governor, these are some of the roads that have never been paved. Period.
Arriola says that Ipan will be the next village to see their roads paved. Then they'll make their way over to Zotnia and then Jigo on the federal highway side. Paving in Marine Drive continues from Route 30 to Route 10, also known as Airport Road. Improvements to Isansong Road in Dededo is also underway. Arriola further added that construction on Route 5 will begin sometime in the summer, hopefully in June, and that's what's making headlines here at home. But now with more is your Chamorro News Update with Uncle Ken.
This news update is brought to you by Pacific Points. Do more, get more.
Buenos days to get some to be sa morgen ni KUAM News. Presenta ni Familian Mizo gi First Hawaiian Bank. Unsan seryoso na aksidente motorcycle sa masuseri gitalwan ni Merkulis, gifyoni Mobo gas station gitalan Route 10 gita Mangilaw, gikasi launa media na ora. Untato ni kasi 20 80 anyos na edad sa Makoni Parenevo Hospital matus matotso gi CPR. Ikrasa ng bagay motorcycle ng kareta. Stabog ko gilugar ni masuseri ikras ang kulod apo na Nissan Cube nukulan madzulang. Oto mitalan para mas ki 2 oras na tempo bentra sa polisiya gini GPD Highway Patrol Division sa investiga aksidente. Sigon ni spokesman para Guam Fire Department si Kevin Riley, un off-duty na tao Guam Fire Department Emergency Dispatcher sa tutuo ni CPR ang Tifan Mati First Responders gwati gisagan ni aksidente. Masasunto, Si Justin James Tyron, 35 anyos na edad, sa giman ng Magistrates na West, Jonathan Kwan, gi Superior Court, gigan Metculis. Bento sa na hearing, apreba si Kwan emotion gin ni Public Defender pero natsuha gwi na kausa. Ti kwalifika si Tyron sa Pulisip Donya. Nurin ni por KUAM at si Tyron ni 4 kwenta gi kada uno na premedyan sing gudugrano na criminal sexual conduct. Ibiktima ni 13 anyos na edad, sa sangan na itakan bas ni gwi as Tyron mas ki 40 bahi desde na kasi 9 pa 10 anyos edad niya. Isugundo na biktima sa 12 anyos sa nasangan na Guida Loki na takan bas niya sa Tyron desde na 9 dan 11 anyos sa edad niya. Apo si Tyron 16,000 pesos na bail. Debi pagudi pa na ligo otro na baga anti di zon na hearing gimen ang otro na Magistrates na West, Benjamin Season. Ito muna sunto gifinut sa morugin ni KUM News para pagod ng Webes. Imapos na dosa ka ni eskwela sa kalanmampos ng kubakaw mentas duri pesti at sakudi salan mamanungo. Sigon nilay debi GDOE no managwa sento na diyan pinanagwi. Lumais PPAJ exemption para isakan 2020 hasta 2021 tan 2021 hasta 2022 sa kan eskwela siha. Kumbyo na madiskuti gimetkulis yung miluluy ni Komite ng Edukasyon si Senadora Telina Nelson sa sempi ni nai GDOE ni adyo na exemption. Intensyon sa parumana bali dan feria sa segon ni GDOE at isa na estudyante ni mamna eskwela gi pasun niya ha sa timan malingo tempo ng leksyon mentas adyo man fafatay eskwela sa hunggan man malilingo oras leksyon niya. Manahano gwati biyo gimina na reading da pro mabote gi después. Para Guam News Network, Gual Sikin Conception. Yasuto gifinut sa moro sa presenta sa ninafatto ni Familiang Mizo gi First Hawaiian Bank.
Hello to the First Hawaiian Bank mobile app. Got a question about your finances? You've come to the right place. Bring all your accounts together, even those that aren't with us, and see the big picture, right down to the smallest detail. Unlock powerful tools like Insights and Money Map that help you save time and take control of your finances. When you connect accounts with the First Hawaiian Bank mobile app, it all starts with yes.
Taco Bell is so good and so cheap.
I know, right? I wonder why.
What if they know we're broke? What if they're trying to be the good guys?
Thanks, Taco Bell!
GU Self-Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's. We offer affordable rates, online payments, and auto bill pay for your convenience. Plus gate access daily from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Call us today at 648-7867 for more information.
Get the job done the right way by getting the right stuff at East West Rental Center. With years of experience helping builders, we definitely got what you need. Call 646-1463 or visit us in Upper Tumon. Open Monday to Saturday from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. and on Sundays from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
The relationship between Guam and Manila, Philippines is undeniable as we share similar cultural traditions, history, and heritage. With generations of Filipinos calling Guam home, KUAM presents a monthly look at the capital city featuring in-depth and engaging interviews on everything from medical tourism to new business and government leaders. Veteran newscaster Nestor Lecanto delivers Beyond Our Borders. This special program is brought to you by KFC and the Medical City, where patients are partners.
Mariana's Irrigation and Landscape Superstore. Stop on by and visit our showroom today. We offer everyday low prices on all major outdoor power equipment like bush cutters, chainsaw, power washer, generators, and more. Need service, repair, maintenance? Well, check out Guam's best superstore only at Mariana's Irrigation and Landscape, located in Barragata along Army Drive between Submarina and Besta Market. Call 735-7446 for more information. Now shipping to surrounding islands. Mariana's Irrigation and Landscape Superstore.
New Spicy Lovers Pizza from Pizza Hut. Hurts so good. With its spicy marinara and sliced red chilies. It's like a roundhouse kick to the taste buds. How's it looking? Don't be bashful with the fiery flakes now. I want it to be real spicy.
I haven't started yet.
Okay, I'm ready. The new Spicy Lovers Pizza. Get it while it's hot. You want respect? Red chilies get you respect. Knowing our Pizza's the Hut.
Join Nestor Lecanto for virtual in-depth discussions with the movers and shakers in our community every Wednesday on In Full Zoom. Presented by IT&D and Calvo Enterprises, Inc.
Properties in the Tropics is your weekly roundup of the hottest properties on Guam. Every Thursday, get a virtual walkthrough of homes, apartments, townhomes, and land available for lease, rent, or sale with a breakdown of the most important info, including cost, features, and of course, location details. Watch it on KUAM News Hotspot at noon on streaming and TV8 or catch the encore at 5 p.m. on TV11. You can also check out each installment on Instagram too. Properties in the Tropics is presented by Remax Diamond Realty.
I wanna ride in my Guam bomb, stroll all around, rolling up from the Lido and back to zero down. They come from zero down, zero down, zero down, zero down. I wanna ride in my Guam bomb, stroll all around, rolling up from the Lido and back to zero down. They come from zero down, zero down, zero down, zero down. Soldier rise, come and fight to this down. Killing a vibe by an eye, reggae paradise. Come me soldier rise, come and fight to this down. Killing a vibe by
Hey, good morning. 6:58. Acting Superintendent of the Guam Department of Education, Joe Sanchez, is coming up here. But let's keep it education first. I want to get Grace and Mel. They're both seniors at the home of the Sharks. Jason Solis's alma mater, Simon Sanchez High School, and they're here to share with you guys. There's a big talent show. It's a fundraiser as we're now knee-deep in the new normal, if you will. Graduations up and running. I think schools are even having proms. And so the Simon Sanchez students are trying to raise money to be able to have funds to pay for, things like graduation and all the extra costs that come with that. And so Mel and Grace wanted to bring you guys on to get the word out about Sharkchella, which is happening tomorrow, right?
Yes, it is happening tomorrow from 6 to around 10 p.m.
Mel, tell us what can we expect, and we'll get all the ticket info and stuff. So it's a big talent show, but what kind of categories do you have, and what kind of performances could people, guys, if you're listening, you stay up north or whatever, might want to grab some tickets. It's going to be a cool show. What are we going to see in that show, Mel?
So the overall theme for this year's Sharkchella is musicals. So each class were given 2 musicals each, and their job throughout the entire performance is to clash the two, and the prize money or the places will be determined on how well they execute both of the themes itself. So for the seniors, I'm not familiar with the others, but with the seniors, our themes are Grease and High School Musical. So their job is just to make sure that you can see both High School Musical and Grease throughout the presentation.
Right. What's your favorite musical, Mel?
I would have to say either Teenage Movie or Grease.
Grease, right? Grease is a classic. How about you, Grace?
I think what mine is also Grease, if not High School Musical, just because of the song.
Right. You know, one that I didn't know a lot of little kids like is The Greatest Showman. Have you guys seen that one? Unmute.
Oh, you're just agreeing.
Yeah, they're nodding. We couldn't hear them nodding, sir, because they were on mute. So I'm pretty sure you know who's going to be performing at this Sharkchella thing. What are some of the classes that we should be looking out for? Who are you hearing is going to really bring it tomorrow night?
All of them are pretty much ready. We did have a time where we get to see a sneak peek of their performance, and that was earlier on, and they were already pretty good. So ever since then, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of improvement that happened. But we do have from class of 2025 to 2022, so it's a different range. And what's unique about this set of performers is that 3 of the classes never got to experience Sharkchella, and it was mainly just the senior class. So it's interesting to see how they kind of understood what Sharkchella was and how they're gonna change what it kind of used to be, and just their interpretation of it.
Right. So let me get this straight. The seniors are the only ones who have experienced Sharkchella because we had that whole pandemic thing the last few years, right? And so this is the first big show you guys are able to do post-COVID, right? How's that feel?
We're just really grateful that we get to have the chance to kind of bring it back because, we really did miss it the past few years. And it's just, for us, it's a step forward to kind of go back to some of our old traditions. There's a lot more that we want to bring back, but hopefully next year they have the chance to do so. So the fact that we get to have this, even though it's late in the year, is really exciting.
Right. And then I know what else is really exciting is being able to graduate. I'm thinking from what I'm hearing from the GDOE people, it's going to be like a regular graduation. So how are you guys feeling about that as seniors?
So we are actually just gonna go with the regular graduating at UOG. So we're already trying to plan our back mass and our for our graduation for the practice. Overall, I think it's just kind of confusing. Just like overall, considering that it was kind of like back and forth or like misinterpretation, like with the venue and stuff.
Yeah.
But overall, I think we're just gonna move forward on and hopefully we have a good graduation.
Grace, are you excited to have old school, well, a regular graduation, a normal one?
Yes, definitely, because it kind of makes all the money you spend on graduation worth it instead of just like driving straight through. So it's definitely a way to commemorate all of the work that we put in the past 4 years.
Yeah. My oldest son graduated in 2020, and so it was definitely that for that class way different, right, because of the pandemic. So it's really good to hear you guys are not just going to graduate, but raising money to make sure that everything goes smooth. Can we talk about the ticket information? Where can people get tickets for tomorrow night's show, Sharkchella?
Well, if they want to reserve a ticket beforehand, it's $15. They can message us on Instagram at SharksSBA, and we can kind of write their name down so we know that will be $15. But if they just want to go straight to the event tomorrow, we will start opening it up to the public at 5:30, and tickets at the door are $20. So it's pretty much up to them. The prices are kind of similar, and it may seem like a lot for some people, but then again, you're paying for like the hard work of the classes and the time they put in. So it's definitely worth it. And yeah, that's pretty much like the ticket information. But yeah, they have the choice to either ask us beforehand or just pay straight at the door.
Is it 20 for adults and kids? Is there a different price for kids?
Oh no, it's 20 for all, except for maybe smaller children, because of course, like they can't enjoy the show like
You
a
mean
regular
the little babies.
adult.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so no phone number, but you just can Sharks SBA on Instagram. You can call and reserve a ticket, or just show up tomorrow. The show starts at 6, right?
Yes.
All right, Grace and Mel, good luck. Break a leg. That's just an expression, not literally. Okay. Okay. Have a good show. Thank you. Have a good show.
Thank you.
There you go, Sharkchella. That's happening tomorrow. We're going to take a quick break, sir, and we're coming back with the acting superintendent of the Guam Department of Education, Joe Sanchez. That is next here on the link. We're also getting Lasia Casil of the Hagatnia Revitalization Authority to talk about, session that's happening. Senators were debating this $500 million Hagatnia redevelopment plan. Right, and so they have to act on it this week. If they don't, I think it goes into effect. If they do and they vote it down, they'll get more time to kind of look it over. So we'll get Senator Tello also at around 8:20 or so to talk about her concerns with this. I think there's some other stuff going on always with session here. We did have some comments about the close open primary. First of all, this show is totally open. Democrat ears, Republican ears, you can all listen in. It's not an issue. Thank you, Rosemary Hagatnia. What are the bylaws of the Democratic Party pertaining to their party candidates? Are these candidates vetted through their committees and given permission to run under their flag? Absolutely not, Rosemary. The way it is now, if you want to run as a Republican, you can run as a Republican. And if you want to run as a Democrat, you can run as a Democrat. You don't necessarily have to be folded into these party structures. But I think there's a lesson to be learned if we're going to be having closed primaries. It's no secret Congressman Nicholas has had his share of troubles with the Democratic Party. And I think, going forward, if this might be an indicator, if you're going to run as a Democrat or a Republican, maybe you do kind of need to fold yourself into the party structure to kind of like protect your flank against any moves like this that may happen down the road. So it's 7:07. We'll take a break and come back with Joe Sanchez, who, again, is the acting soup of GDOE. That's next at 7:07 right here on the link. Good morning.
We're living in a new world with new ways of communicating, connecting, and moving through life.
Every day seems to be marked with change, and with all these changes, you need trusted people you can rely on for advice and insights about the things that really matter.
Let Gina and I walk you through everything you need to know about real estate, from buying to selling to renting, and all the details in between.
Join us with Jason Solis every week on House to Home.
House to Home every Tuesday on KUAM News Extra, presented by Remax Diamond Realty.
The KUAM Care Force, in partnership with the UOG Center for Island Sustainability, Guam Green Growth, and UOG Sea Grant, is proud to present a series of Sustainability Matters features all Earth Month long, including Green Leader Profiles on KUAM News Primetime, introducing you to people in our community leading the way with sustainable businesses and practices. A Think Green Cleanup Showcase on Weekend Edition at the end of April, featuring your events around the island. And Team KUAM is taking on the Sustainable Lifestyle Challenge every Friday on Hotspot. Plus, follow the KUAM News Instagram and Facebook pages for weekly tips from Guam Green Growth. Sustainability matters all month long on KUAM Communications.
Watch Mariana's artists, activists, and visionaries and their quest to protect, preserve, and promote our Chamorro culture on the Culture Club, a weekly feature on KUAM News digital platforms and the KUAM News Weekend Edition. Brought to you by Tropicool Ice. Catch Sports Link on the Link every Friday for the latest sports news, game schedules, athlete profiles, and more. Sports Link airs every Friday on Breeze 93.9 FM and streaming online across our multimedia platforms. Sports Link is brought to you by Mariana's Irrigation and Landscape and Taco Bell. Live Muss.
We're taking care of business with GTA on KUAM Digital. Tips and advice for your business to get more productive, efficient, and streamlined with pro tips, tools, and other services. We're navigating through the best practices in tech, operations, and beyond every month with the help of our friends at GTA on KUAM Digital. GTA, we start with you.
Start off your middays with the menu on KUAM News Hotspot, your preview to the big news items. Broadcast on KUAM TV 8 weekdays at noon, with live stream on our social media platforms, plus an encore at 5 p.m. on KUAM TV 11.
The Menu, brought to you by King's Restaurant, always open, always local, and Ruby Tuesday Guam, home of the fresh Garden Bar.
By mata hilu tahonu adanti hogu asako Ipanu zani panu malaneni tatulakan Sahadi bibi bunu ko agizalau sati magwaita Tok tumogi sintura ventas mama
Hey, coming up, we got Cover Me, brought to you by Burger King. Got some new performances for you guys. 10 after 7, it's Thursday, April 28th, 2022, right here on the Link. Wahusi Chris, let's head into the KUAM News Link Zoom room, where the acting superintendent of education, Joe Sanchez, is online here. Good morning, Joe.
Hey, good morning, Chris. How are you?
Pretty good. Thanks for joining us.
No problem. Thank you.
I guess we'll just start with the graduation stuff, because we just had a couple seniors from Simon Sanchez talking about Sharkchella, right? So have we ironed out, just like school to school, all the different graduation plans for this year?
So if I'm not mistaken, I think all schools have chosen to do kind of like a regular graduation, as we call it. I'm not sure all the sites. I know they're working out their venues, but we're pretty excited. We're happy for this particular class. We know that the last 2 years have been really hard, and we know that graduation is such an important experience for all students. And although we know the last 2 years, they're definitely not going to forget their graduation. I mean, they're going to have stories to tell for years, but. There really isn't, any experience like having a regular graduation where you get together physically with your classmates and you get called on stage and, people cheer and all of those things. So really, it's a set of events that we're really looking forward to.
Well, with about a month left of school, Joe, I know they got two bills introduced. One was to exempt the 180 days of instruction requirement, as well as the 75 service learning hours. for this school year. I guess just your read on how confident you are in these measures passing. And then I wanted to kind of ask, would we be violating any tenets of the Adequate Education Act should we pass this waiver for the 180 days of instructional time?
So that's actually why we requested the waiver, is to make sure that we're not going to be violating the Adequate Education Act. We're not getting any indications that it won't pass. We're very hopeful that the senators will continue to provide us that support. We met with them on 2 occasions. We had an informational briefing to kind of start the request. And the second time around, we testified during the legislative hearing. And we did get a number of questions and concerns from the senators, but we believe we answered their questions. We understand that it's, the concept is not supported by everybody, right? Like they think that we're just cutting the days, but it was actually at our request. We discussed this at length with our teachers. We discussed this at length with our administrators, and we felt really also with the students that they are, they're working really hard already. I mean, they've come back to school. They understand that they're behind, so they're working really hard to get back on track. Same thing with the teachers, that extending the school year would have just added to the continued stress and anxiety, and we really didn't feel that it would be that much helpful. So really we want to just end the year like normal as possible, and then start on next year going strong. So yeah, we have no reason to believe that it won't pass, and we continue to hope for the senator's support.
I want to ask, because with my kids, I'm sorry, guys, proud dad, my kids, they didn't miss a beat during the pandemic. I mean, in fact, it's almost like they got smarter. But how serious is the learning loss, Joe? Because, I mean, I'm looking at this situation, and the way I see it as it is what it is, right? We can't extend the school year, and I understand that we're basically going to put our head down and try and, catch up next school year. But just when you talk about the pandemic learning loss, it seems kind of immeasurable, but just how large is the impact, and how do you guys plan to address that, I guess, moving forward?
Yeah, that's a tough question, because it is serious. I mean, we knew it was going to be serious when we moved into it. I mean, just not having regular school for a whole year, and then the following year having sporadic school, I would call it that, where it's partial online and whatnot. You're definitely going to see some of the impact. Some of the measurable impact that we saw immediately during the pandemic was the failure rate. The failure rate almost doubled. So you went from, a normal 20%, all the way up to almost 40% in some cases, which is almost half, really of the student population. But the thing is when they got back to school, especially when they got back to this school year, partial online, but then eventually they got back face to face, we were looking at the data, and the first set of data that came in, doing the assessments that they took at the beginning of the year, yeah, that showed quite a bit. It's like the students scoring at the lowest rung were like 20 or 30 points higher than normal, which was, somewhat alarming. But then when we started to look at their grades over the semester, and then just the recent assessments we took in January, it's really matching up with what the teachers are telling us when we meet with them. We had regular meetings the last couple of weeks where we gave teachers a chance to talk through some of the issues they're having at their schools. And they're reporting to us that the students, when they come back to school and they work consistently, they're actually, improving. Their pace of improvement is there. Their engagement is there, really. And the data is showing that we seem to be getting back to pre-COVID numbers. Now, I want to be clear on that. Our scores weren't super high to begin with, right? Even pre-COVID, right? So what we're seeing numbers kind of return to that level, right? And which shows us that we're making good progress. And of course, we're not trying to make up everything within this 1 year. It's, we're looking at next year and the year after that. And with a substantial amount of resources that we're getting, we're really pumping a lot of, supports into the classroom, instructional materials, the technology and the online resources that the students can use to help catch up and work on particular skills, really is, I think is going to have a tremendous effect. So yeah, we're hopeful, and teachers and students are working really hard at that.
Joe, it's not happening in a vacuum though, right? I mean, this is like a national trend where schools just across the country are dealing with this massive learning loss. So you guys kind of have these examples, right, of how to move?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And we really try to keep up with, the U.S. Department of Education has really good summary briefs. We also stay in contact with the National State Boards of Education. Our board is really active with them. The superintendent is a member of the Council of Chief State School Officers. So they provide us with a lot of the summary briefs that are out there. And, one thing that I recommend to a lot of folks, whenever they read articles in the news or whether it be Ed Week or whatever, don't just read the articles themselves. Try to read the comments that are there, because a lot of times the comments help bring the dialogue, kind of more to light. What are teachers thinking out there? What are, other stakeholders and folks thinking about? So it really helps inform kind of the discussions that we have here on island. And one of the things that they talk about is, especially in districts that didn't have a lot of resources to begin with, like Guam.
Right.
The key there is really focusing on classroom and key instruction. I mean, we're getting resources into the classroom that we haven't had for years, and we're really excited about that. And we know that that's definitely going to have an impact, because those are things that teachers have been asking for a very long time.
Right. How are we with the teachers and just, I guess, like teacher staffing levels? Are we going to head into next school year at a deficit, or are you? Or not? I feel like we're kind of also racing the clock with these teachers' raises. So I guess I'll start there. Where are we with the teacher raises?
Yeah, so I was supposed to have a meeting yesterday for some reason, and they canceled it. But I know the committee is moving forward with their recommendations, and they should be able to share that soon. We agree that it's a long time coming. It's really something that I think our teachers, talk a lot about. I mean, one thing about these folks is they're not complaining all the time. Like, that's not the first thing they bring up when we meet with them. But, in a lot of social circles, they do bring up the fact that, you go to school for so many years, and, you take all these years to be, to prepare for it. And then, a lot of these younger teachers are very smart. They're doing things that we didn't do, 20 years ago. They're projecting their lifelong, earnings, and they're comparing it to their friends. We have some of the teachers who just graduated from high school in 2014 and 15. And, I had a conversation with one of them, and they said, sir, if I were to, work as a teacher for the next 20 years, this is how much I would be making. But I have some other friends who went into accounting, they went into engineering, they went into all these other fields, and in some cases they're going into fields that don't require degrees. But, and then you try to anticipate what they'll be making 20 years later. It's just not comparable. So I think this is a good time, a long time coming, I think. Yeah. And glad that we're moving forward with that.
Do we have a dollar figure attached to it yet, Joe? Or?
I'm aware, but I don't think I'm ready to share that yet. I don't want to until that gets official. But I know they're throwing around a lot of numbers.
Are they? Are they like pie in the sky? Are they sustainable numbers?
No, I think they're very realistic. I'm not an economist, but I know it's definitely going to have an impact on the government's budget. But again, if we're serious about saying that we want to support education, and in particular we want to support teachers and educators, then we have to take this effort serious.
What about the domino effect, Joe? I know we had Ms. Maria Gutierrez, Guam Education Board member on. I want to say it was earlier this year, possibly late. It was earlier this year, and she was talking about, once we give the teachers, what about the rest of the GDOE staff that she feels, and a lot of people would agree, are underpaid? How are we gonna? Yeah, it is definitely gonna have a domino effect, but. I don't think there's any way to avoid that domino effect. You really have to consider compensation all around. You're going to have to look at administrator compensation. I mean, this conversation happened, I forgot how many years ago, but when they had that 14% increase or something, and at one point it was going to be just the teachers, and they weren't going to include school administrators. Well, that would have caused two issues. Number one, back then, it was easier for school administrators to demote. For some reason. So there were a lot of administrators who were saying, I'm just going to go ahead and demote to teacher status, because either I'll be making more as a teacher, or there'll be, compensations a little bit more fair as a teacher. Also, it would have prevented recruiting, or the recruitment of administrators, where, they would quickly calculate in their head, well, this is how much I make as a teacher. So really there has to be, some comparable approach to administrator salaries, and of course staff. I mean, one thing that we know about schools is they really have to work as a team in a school. I mean, everyone from
the custodians, for those that still have custodians, but for school aides to office staff and whatnot. I mean, they all work together, and in some cases, unfortunately, some of them are doing similar jobs. We have office staff that are doing some professional responsibilities, especially when they watch classes and so on. So then the question comes up about compensation in those areas.
Joe, what about laptops, MiFis?
Yeah, so we continue to have laptops delivered. In fact, they're delivered on a consistent basis. We're really excited about how we now have cabinets, and we now have mobile carts that could be deployed to specific classrooms so that teachers don't have to share. Right now, we're prioritizing the core classrooms as well as the teachers who've made those requests. So, before, what used to happen is, you have a group of teachers who want to use the laptops for their classroom. They would have to coordinate with each other, to say, hey, I'm going to use it on this day, I'm going to use it on this day, and so on. But, now we're going to get to a number where teachers who really need them are going to have them readily available in their classrooms. This includes a set that we can utilize to regularly distribute to students so that they can take home. The MiFis in particular, the smaller amount, we have a small, 3,000 some MiFis that are out there for student use and administrator use and teacher use. But we have a larger procurement that we continue to move forward, which we intend to kind of last for about another year. With the governor's office, and that's currently in procurement. But that's about 12,000 MiFis that we're looking at distributing and keeping that going. And if one of the things that we're looking at, because we're kind of knock on wood, that we're almost out of COVID, right? So the purpose is actually changing, right? One is, if we do have to close down again, and hopefully we don't have to shut down schools again, but in the event that we do, we have those MiFis readily available. But even if we don't, we still think that it would be a good idea to provide it to a number of families who don't have regular internet access, so that we can use that as part of our strategy to help students kind of catch up and other things.
Joe, I wanted to ask you if you could comment at all about the special GEB meeting happening May 6th. I know that's a board meeting, but I guess on the execution side, how are you guys doing?
So, I know that there should be an announcement coming out soon from the rugby union. They just informed us about their review, based on the letter from the superintendent. So I have to get the information on what's the latest from Guam Rugby. But I do also know that the board is having that special meeting to determine how they intend to address this. There's some discussions about whether or not it's interscholastic, so let the interscholastic folks handle it, versus whether or not it's actually a policy decision, at the board level. So I can't kind of predict how that's going to go, but I can say that a lot of folks are taking this very seriously, and even the conversations that I've had, I kind of like the fact that we're having this conversation. I mean, really, I think it's been very respectful. I think it's been very compassionate. Especially when they talk about supports for transgender students, even the ones who are against it, where they're saying they don't want, it's not because the student's transgender. They're focusing on the fact that it's a safety issue. So I really think this is a tough conversation, but it's a conversation that we need to have. And so far, what I'm hearing is it's been very respectful, and I think that's the way it needs to continue to be.
Yeah, I mean, it's been very a delicate conversation, right? But you're right. I think for the most part, outside of some just wackos on social media, it has been pretty respectful. Yeah. But there was a big meeting last night, I heard, with a lot of the parents. Did you hear about that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah. Okay.
There was a meeting about this topic?
Yeah, and we're talking about transgenders and rugby, as I'm sure you know by now, is a story we've covered a lot, as there is a transgender, a female playing girls rugby, and for Guam High, and Guam High's team has actually been tabled while this whole thing gets sorted out. But Joe, you know what we talked about, learning loss?
I was not forgetting about the meeting, but I know about the issue.
Okay, yeah. So when we talked about learning loss, right, and you mentioned that nationally there are techniques and methods that you guys can use to kind of address that. What about with this transgender issue. I mean, not just in sports, but in the classroom. Do you guys kind of look at some of these national policies and glean what you could use and apply here? Is that what's going to happen?
Yeah, so it's actually from the U.S. Department of Education where we get our direct guidance. The hard part is even when we contacted the U.S. Department of Education and their subsidiary centers for support, their guidance is basically it depends. Is you have to read the guidance and you really have to do your best to adhere to the guidance. And the rules and regulations and specific details are supposed to be out sometime next year. So, although the general guidance has been provided, the specifics is supposed to be provided within a year or so. So that doesn't help us, with the immediate challenges, right? So basically what we were told is really just look through the guidance, look at your scenarios, and try to adhere to it as much as possible. It doesn't say yes or no. It just means you have to understand, make sure that it's not discriminatory, make sure that your deliberations are open and have a logic behind it that do not necessarily discriminate because of now transgender being a protected class. And I think, it's to a certain extent that's frustrating because you kind of hope to just have an answer.
Right.
Just tell us yes or no.
Right.
But at the same time, I think these policy discussions are what we are required to have in order to come up with a decision. And I think really just based on the way the conversations have been going, I think, well, number one, there's a chance to be, litigation in any direction, right? So whatever you choose, there's always a chance for litigation. But, if you have the deliberations, if you really think through the logic, address the concerns, when you come up with a decision and you're able to demonstrate that, we're not just discriminating and just, simply saying, hey, yes or no, based on a student being, transgender, then I think we've met at least the spirit of Title IX and all the other, protections that the student, has.
Yeah, that's interesting, Joe, that, we do want an answer today or tomorrow, right? But I think nationally this issue is still being played out, across so many levels, right? Joe, is there anything in closing you want to throw out before we let you go?
No, there's just a bunch of stuff going on. We're preparing for summer school, so parents, if you're interested in sending your kids to summer school, especially if their, grades weren't too high and they need additional supports, please send them K-8. In high school, if they're missing credits, they can earn up to 2 credits. Please have your kids, contact their counselors, and sign up.
Thank you, Joe.
All right, Chris, good to see you.
There you
Thank
go.
you.
Good talk. 7:29, Thursday, April 28th. That's Joe Sanchez. He's the acting superintendent right now because John Fernandez is off island, but I think he gets back tonight. 7:30, we'll take a quick break, and we're coming back with HRRA Director Lacia Casil responding to concerns from senators and as this $500 million Hagatnia master plan is before legislators for action, and if they don't act on it, it goes into effect. If they do decide to table it for further review, we'll find out what Lacia thinks of that. All coming up here on the show. We'll take a quick break first, though. Thank you. My name's Chris, and we're back with more next. Good morning.
Let us know what's up on our KOAM News WhatsApp tip line at 671-727-0094. Share information about what's happening in your town, on Guam or the CNMI, and what you want us to know. Reach us on WhatsApp at 671-727-0094.
Uno Mixed. We're mixing it up on the last Thursday of every month with a look at lifestyle, entertainment, food, and so much more on the stations, networks, and digital platforms of KUAM Communications. Uno Mixed is presented to you by Docomo Pacific, Better Together, and Pepsi. That's what I like.
Start off your middays with the menu on KUAM News Hotspot, your preview to the big news items. Broadcast on KUAM TV 8 weekdays at noon with live stream on our social media platforms, plus an encore at 5 p.m. on KUAM TV 11.
The menu, brought to you by King's Restaurant, always open, always local, and Ruby Tuesday Guam, home of the fresh Garden Bar.
It's Feed Me Fridays on the link. Good eats, good company, and beyond good chow with Team KUAM checking out Guam's most tantalizing, tempting menu items. Every Friday on the link, listen on Breeze 93.9 FM or stream online. Brought to you by Devondale, real milk from free grazing cows.
We're taking care of business with GTA on KUAM Digital. Tips and advice for your business to get more productive, efficient, and streamlined with pro tips, tools, and other services. We're navigating through the best practices in tech, operations, and beyond every month with the help of our friends at GTA on KUAM Digital. GTA, we start with you.
Catch SportsLink on the Link every Friday for the latest sports news, game schedules, athlete profiles, and more. SportsLink airs every Friday on Breeze 93.9 FM and streaming online across our multimedia platforms. SportsLink is brought to you by Mariana's Irrigation and Landscape and Taco Bell. Live Mas.
Properties in the Tropics is your weekly roundup of the hottest properties on Guam. Every Thursday, get a virtual walkthrough of homes, apartments, townhomes, and land available for lease, rent, or sale with a breakdown of the most important info, including cost, features, and of course, location details. Watch it on KUAM News Hotspot at noon on streaming and TV8 or catch the encore at 5 p.m. on TV11. You can also check out each installment on Instagram too. Properties in the Tropics is presented by Remax Diamond Realty. The KUAM Care Force, in partnership with the UOG Center for Island Sustainability, Guam Green Growth, and UOG Sea Grant, is proud to present a series of Sustainability Matters features all Earth Month long, including Green Leader Profiles on KUAM News Primetime, introducing you to people in our community leading the way with sustainable businesses and practices. A Think Green Cleanup Showcase on Weekend Edition at the end of April, featuring your events around the island. And Team KUAM is taking on the Sustainable Lifestyle Challenge every Friday on Hotspot. Plus, follow the KUAM News Instagram and Facebook pages for weekly tips from Guam Green Growth. Sustainability matters all month long on KUAM Communications.
KUAM Communications continues our perpetuation of our Chamorro culture, language, and heritage with features available to our listening and viewing audience, including streaming of Chamorro music 24 hours per day on Isla Digital Radio on KUAM.com and the KUAM News app. Chamorro News Update, weekdays on the Link and the KUAM News YouTube channel. Conversations about life in our Chamorro language podcast, Cuentos Tapoco with Kin Conception, seasonal specials, shows, and other features highlighting the beauty of our language, culture, and history. It's a new era of our continued commitment to our Chamorro heritage. Isla, watch, listen, stream. Viva Isla!
We're living in a new world with new ways of communicating, connecting, and moving through life.
Every day seems to be marked with change, and with all these changes, you need trusted people you can rely on for advice and insights about the things that really matter.
Let Gina and I walk you through everything you need to know about real estate, from buying to selling to renting, and all the details in between.
Join us with Jason Solis every week on House to Home.
House to Home every Tuesday on KUAM News Extra, presented by Remax Diamond Realty.
The KUAM Podcast Network is back and on demand, featuring a great variety of podcasts from our island and region, including culture, lifestyle, awareness, crime, politics, commentary, comedy, and entertainment. Available on most streaming platforms. The KUAM Podcast Network. Subscribe and listen now. Baking school. Yes, I'll tell you all about it with GCC coming up. As I was thinking, sir, back during the, I guess right after the first lockdown, remember when the GCC Culinary Academy students were doing their, they were doing like a lunch thing, right? And we had them on a bunch of times, and they did it for a bunch of weeks. So just a really great program. And this morning we're going to be talking with a couple people who have been through this program and are now, working out as success stories. So it's awesome. It's 7:36, Thursday, April 28th. Lacia Casil, the director of the Hagatnia. I always get this wrong, Lacia.
Restoration and Redevelopment Authority. Hurrah, for short.
Hurrah. And I guess it is that hurrah time, as the $500 million master plan for Hagatnia is before the legislature. Right now, I know you saw they had some concerns, Lacia, but we'll get to that in a second. First, I wanted to get to just the plans, chances of So how's it work? If they don't do anything, it goes into effect. If they vote it down and table it, they have more time to review it. So what's your look at the lay of the land?
Okay, so there are three ways that we could go here. They either accept it with amendments, or they can amend it, or they can reject it. It doesn't look positive right now. So we are, planning to have a roundtable with the senators to discuss all of their concerns. I think that the time limit during the committee of the whole was a bit frustrating. They had many more questions and concerns than we could address during that limited amount of time. And we're transparent, we have nothing to hide. We want to share all the information. We comply with the open government law. So we submitted a formal request to our oversight chair to have a roundtable discussion in the next couple of weeks.
So is this going to affect the status of the plan? I mean, does this mean we're just tabling it to have this roundtable to address these concerns? And does a new timeline start?
They're probably going to vote it down tomorrow.
Okay.
But we've already discussed it with our legal counsel, and the board can vote to approve it again and resubmit it until it passes, hopefully.
Right.
So that's our intention.
I see. So how are you feeling about this? I know you've been working hard on this for the last few years, and to get it up here to the senator's doors, only to have it kicked down again.
Well, throughout the whole meeting, my main takeaway was that there aren't really concerns with the plan itself. There were very few amendments to the plan, and they were all very acceptable. A few changes here. The main concern seemed to be with factors surrounding the plan, the powers that have been given to the authority, such as eminent domain, and our funding source were questions. And a study, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers study, I think that the speaker brought that up yesterday. It's a very strong concern of hers. And we were supposed to do this study with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers to find some way to mitigate flooding in Hagatnia. And that study, a year and a half into it, they came back to us with information about an executive order that they have to follow, Executive Order 11988, which states that their goal is not to reduce the size of the floodplain nor mitigate the floodplain itself, but to reduce the risk to the lives and structures and economic damage within the existing floodplain. So that kind of went against what our end goal was, right? Is to develop Hagatnia, as an economic city, economic opportunities within Hagatnia. So that was a surprise to us after a year and a half into the study, that they came back to us with this executive order that's been around for like 45 years.
Is this a local executive order or like a presidential?
No, it's a U.S. Army Corps of Engineers executive order. They came to us during the study with 4 options on how to mitigate the flood. 3 of them included construction, and then one of them was not, did not include construction. And they said, hey, we have this executive order. We can only recommend the non-construction option. And when they explained it to us, that was one, it was by choice. And it included all the businesses and residents of Hagatnia going in and painting the walls of their homes and businesses with waterproof paint, to mitigate damage, not actually stop the flooding. And this would have required businesses to stop running, for them to come in and take all the precautions, people moving stuff out of their homes, and it was a choice. So it didn't really address the issue that we were trying to accomplish, mitigate the flooding itself.
So, since that study is out the door, what's the way forward? Is this going to be something that
It's not out the door.
Okay.
It's not out the door. We were currently seeking funding to complete the study, with options that the governor prefers. There was money put aside to do a study for a river walk, and we can't do a river walk until we mitigate the flooding. There are other options. We just need to go with a different firm. And everyone forgets, that the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers is a for-profit organization that competes with other firms, to do this type of studies. And it's not the first time that the federal government has been not forthcoming with our island. So, to put all our faith in the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers is I wouldn't put all our eggs in that basket.
What about some of the concerns the speaker had raised about some of the zoning issues and powers that HRRA has?
We do have the authority to change the zoning code with just a public hearing, and it's not something that we took lightly. We, in the development of this master plan, which was paid for through the hot bonds in 2015, it's not a $500 million plan. It was about $1 million, Chris, just to clarify that.
I mean, the project, yes.
The projects
yeah.
are like $500 million. Right. So the plan has already been paid for. We have this plan. We own it. We can edit it. We plan to edit it as part of policy every 5 years because, climates change, environments change, administrations change, the needs of the community change. So as far as the zoning code, when we were engaging with the community, having open houses, charrettes, design charrettes, one of the main concerns of the community in Hagatnia was that the current zoning code did not allow them to maximize their properties because most of the zoning down in Anigua is all residential. And there are a lot of landlords that said, hey, we would love to do, 2 or 3 story type mixed use developments. And you see this right now where Shirley's is, right? Yeah. So you have Shirley's on the bottom and then now you have condos up top, but the current zoning code doesn't allow that. So we took all the feedback from the residents and we said, we're going to expand the zoning code. And that's what we want to do. All along the cliff line going from across where Citibank is and down where I believe it's Shell and Burger King and Crust Pizza, that we're expanding the zoning code. So we've worked with the community to develop something that's a win-win for everyone.
Lawson, what about, because I know you have a real estate background and some of the things that speaker was talking about, and I know that's in the plan, like uniformity, right? With painting buildings and just structurally, what types of, or how does the plan address that? And what are businesses, residences in the Hagatnia area, how are they going to have to comply? Are there going to be any differences in how they're able to, build and paint and all that stuff?
Well, what the design guidelines addresses is mass and form and types of materials. So there's a wider range of materials that people can use. And we've looked at, we've kind of created 4 different districts within Hagatnia. You have a waterfront district now, we have a city center district, we have a Riverwalk district, which is, goes all the way along the river to the back of Hagatnia Shopping Center. And then we have what we call the West Hagatnia district, which is more residential, Anigua, going towards that way. So there are different proposed design features for each of the districts, right? And in a city capital, we're trying to keep it more looking towards retail and government, but nothing is set in stone. There's still the permitting process. If anyone wants to build outside of the recommended design guides, they can apply for a variance, just like they do with the current zoning code.
Right. So it kind of sounds like back to the drawing board, right? So when they, and you're anticipating they're going to vote this down tomorrow. What's the timeline in terms of meeting with your board and just figuring out how to move forward after this?
Well, we meet with the board next week. We've already made the formal request for a roundtable discussion in the next couple of weeks. There weren't very many amendments to the plan itself. Again, it had to do with our powers and components that aren't part of the plan. By law, we are mandated to submit a plan to the legislature. There are other components like the zoning code, which they wanted information of. But by law, we're not mandated to submit the zoning code. The documents on how we're going to govern the city, we didn't submit that because by law, that's not what was required of us. So I feel like it's being held hostage by these other factors that don't really aren't a part of it. I mean, the speaker herself, you said yesterday, it's a beautiful plan, right?
Yeah.
It's beautiful. A lot of work has gone into it. So we're going to try and address those other issues that they have at the roundtable. We've requested that they submit all their questions. It was a strong request from the Republicans side, from Senator Tello-Taitigui, Senator Brown, and we're going to try and respond to all their questions and take it from there.
Lost, do you anticipate this kind of thing with Hagatnia happening in like Tumon, where we clean up zoning, kind of bring uniformity to these different districts?
I think that is the hope, is that this would serve as a template for other villages. We have a lot of issues right now with irresponsible development, right? We go and we change the zoning code of a certain area. For example, the area in Two Lovers Point, they just changed the zoning code without any guidance, without any policies. And then you get a developer that comes in there and wants to put a Ferris wheel, right next to the ocean. And then you get protests, and people are angry and upset because there was no planning. There was no foresight. Okay, if you're going to create a hotel zone, at least give some guidance. Hey, you know what? We want the hotels to be sustainable. We want the hotels to, be environmentally friendly. So that's what this plan is. It's policy. It's not regulation.
Yeah.
It's guidance. It's not regulation. We are not a regulatory agency. So that's what we've done. Is we've said, hey, if you want to develop in Hagatnia, you can't obstruct any of our heritage sites. You can't. You have to put a sidewalk in front of your building so that you meet the guidelines that we're trying to create a city that's for live, work, and play. So those are the type of guidelines that we're looking at. We're not restricting people from developing. We're trying to create a unique sense of place that protects our capital city from irresponsible development.
Yeah, I mean, I know I've talked to you over the years about this, and I know you're very passionate about it. And I was excited when you got it all the way to legislature, and I really hope you're able to resolve this with this informational hearing and address all the concerns.
Thank you, Chris. It's been 25 years.
Yeah.
It's never gotten to this point. We've spent $1 million, and they've stopped it because of a study that wasn't required that we submit by law. But we're going to address those things hopefully in this discussion, this forum, the roundtable, and I hope that we can help them better understand, and hopefully it'll pass then. And if not, then there are other reasons why it's not passing, right?
Are you saying politics, Lasia? It wouldn't be me. I got to ask just for your comment on, and I'm sure you've been following
I knew
this.
you were going to ask me. I caught the tail end of your
Right.
last.
Yeah. Yeah. And so there's a girl plays for Guam High, a transgender, wanted to play on the girls' team, or has been playing on the girls' team. I'm sure you've been following the news, but just your comment on this situation as now this whole transgender and sports issue, it's landed on our shores, and I'm just curious to see your take on it.
My take. Listen, Chris. Transgender children vary in athletic ability just as other youth do. There's no evidence to support claims that allowing transgender student athletes to play on the team that fits their gender identity would affect the fairness of the sport or the competition. There's studies that have been done. This is just one of those culture wars that the right has created. In when was it? In just a few years ago. Remember, it was all the bathroom bills
right? Yeah.
That they were trying to pass. They didn't succeed then because there was no evidence. Now they're attacking us. Our youth, and it's a real shame because our youth play sports to gain confidence and to work on things like fairness and perseverance and discipline and working on teams at this level. This isn't professional sports, and to discriminate, based on fear and bigotry, it hurts. And let me tell you, Chris, I'm almost 50 years old, so I've been taking this kind of crap for a long time. And the average lifespan of a trans person is 35. Most of us don't make it past 35 because of suicide, because of drugs, whatever, because of, from discrimination like this. So I have a tough skin. But lately it's been getting to me. It's really been getting to me, and it's been affecting my mental health. So can you imagine me with this tough skin, having taken all this, what our 15, 12, 10, 9-year-old kids are going through right now. So that's what I have to say about it.
Wow. Thank you for that, Lacia. I feel you, and I feel your passion on that, and I agree. You're right, and I think a lot of young kids, they play sports also to escape from the problems of the real world. And appreciate your input on that, Lacia, and good luck with this informational hearing. Keep us posted, and have a great day.
Thank you, Chris. You too.
Okay,
Adios.
Lacia. Esta.
Hi, Jason.
Is Jason here? He's in the back. Thank you, Lacia.
Adios.
See you. Hey, 7:55, Thursday, April 28th, 2022. I'm really glad that Lacia was able to comment on that. This issue kind of popped up when I was on leave, and that was kind of the first thing I thought about was getting Lacia's take on this. As I know you guys know, she's a transgendered female. She just told a lot of her story there, and I think the part that really resonated with me was when she talked about being almost 50 years old and having lived this life as a trans person and having dealt with the abuse, the discrimination, the hatred, the bigotry, and to still be standing here today talking to us, right? And she says, that's me with my thick skin. Imagine a teen, a child, still growing, trying to find their way, how they take it, right? 7:55, Thursday, April 28, 2022. This is The Link. My name is Chris. Thank you, guys. Facebook Live. We got here comments. John Paul Manuel, thank you, Lacia, for all your hard work. F. Glenn Lujan, wow, man, members of the LGBTQ community this morning on The Link. Biba Pride. Right on. Facebook Live, keep it coming. Rosemary Laguatnia comments, the main concerns are more clarification on zoning and flood mitigations to ensure those are intact before passing the bill. So there you go. I wasn't sure how Lacia was going to be this morning, given that, this is her baby, right? She took this project, which was never supposed to be completed, which was kind of pie in the sky for a lot of people, right? And there were, political associations with it, and she brought it here to the legislature. So Looking forward to, hopefully they can find some resolutions and a way forward in that informational hearing. 7:56 on the Breeze side, we're KUAM FM and Hagatnia, Guam. We got to take a quick break, and we're coming back with more of the show, including our 8 o'clock newscast, Senator Tello Taitagui, and our friends from the Guam Community College, all coming up right here on the link. It's Thursday, April 28th. Good morning. Gotta be honest.
Start off your middays with the menu on KUAM News Hotspot, your preview to the big news items. Broadcast on KUAM TV 8 weekdays at noon, with live stream on our social media platforms, plus an encore at 5 p.m. on KUAM TV 11.
The menu, brought to you by King's Restaurant, always open, always local, and Ruby Tuesday Guam, home of the fresh Garden Bar.
dugiega ti usunda kifionu Zatai todos imaga kumu Nisikiran kata para ba utungu afa na rason nating udu Nispipia hafa kirira rasonmu
Good morning. 803. Minority Senator Tello Tidegwe's coming up in GCC. We got Trina St. Augustine to talk about the culinary program. They've got a great program with the culinary program. It's an awesome program. And there's a way for you guys to get involved with it. And I sent this over to my son yesterday. I'll tell you a little bit about this before we get to the news. Okay, it's the GCC Culinary Academy. The first year free. Yes, you heard right. First year free. Interested in culinary arts, baking, apply for the first year free. This is a technical assistance program made possible through the Department of Interior. It provides your first year of tuition and fees for the Guam Community College's Culinary Arts Associate Degree Program. Absolutely free. And there's a deadline to apply May 20th. So we'll ask Trina about that coming up here. That was Baba B singing that one. Okay. It's 8:05. We're KUAM FM in Hagatnia, Guam. Let's go ahead and get into our 8 o'clock newscast brought to you by Pacific Points from the KUAM News team with the very latest. The Mossman Glotnia joins us right now on the link with your link update. Good morning.
This news update is brought to you by Pacific Points. Do more, get more.
Hafaday, good morning. Here are your headlines on the link. In a stunning move with major campaign and voting implications, the Democratic Central Committee voted overwhelmingly Tuesday night to close their primary election. Nestor Lecanto reports.
In a 30-5 vote with 1 abstention and 15 no-shows, Democratic Party officials approved an amendment to their bylaws to allow for a closed primary. They must also give advance notice to the Election Commission as required under a 2004 Superior Court ruling. And while that's been on the books for the last 18 years, this is the first time it will be invoked. Party Chairman Tony Babauta.
The action by the CEC taken last night was to preserve the votes of those voters who have decided to register and affiliate themselves with the Democratic Party. It preserves those votes.
The action comes a week after gubernatorial challengers Michael San Nicolas and running mate Sabrina Salas Matanani filed their candidacies. And San Nicolas, in a statement, blasted it as, quote, a political move by the Lou and Josh team to deny people their freedom to vote for whom they choose in the primary. But the move is also seen as a way to block Republicans who don't have a contested primary from crossing over in what Babauta says is called raiding.
There seem to be some frustrations that were expressed by longtime Democrats that they don't want their vote to be watered down. They want to preserve the vote of registered Democrats to elect those candidates who decide to run as Democrats to be the standard party bearers in the general election, and they bear the values of the party.
Salas Matanani raised the possibility of their team running on an independent ticket if Democrats, she said, are going to deny people their right to choose regardless of party. Babauta countered that he believes it could actually energize the Democratic base, and he deflected any notion that the move was to favor the incumbents.
There was very little talk about anything about the gubernatorial campaign, and when there was, I reminded everyone who was representing Democrats from their villages that what's being put before them is not put before them to the betterment or to the detriment of any Democratic candidate that's running for office. What this does is it empowers Democrats and preserves their votes in a Democratic primary to select the standard party bearers into the general election.
The official notice of a closed primary must be submitted to the Election Commission by June 28th. For KUAM News, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
The rare move to close the primary election is raising more questions than the Election Commission has answers for. GEC Executive Director Maria Pangilinan was a guest on Wednesday's Link Show. Host Chris Barnett and his viewers have plenty of questions. Here's a sampling.
When I go to vote in this Democrat closed primary, would I be able to cast a ballot in the Democrat closed primary if I did not declare to you guys and to everybody, as God is my witness, that I am in fact a Democrat?
Again, Chris, it would be dependent on what the board decides finally, based on what the Democratic Party lets us know how they want it conducted.
Are you concerned at all about privacy issues? I mean, for a lot of reasons, voters may not want to announce that they are Democrat or Republican or, independent.
As always, the Guam Election Commission must follow the law, Chris. And if that, deters the voter participation, that's something that we need to deal with. It's not clear to me whether it's the Guam Election Commission voter registry of Democrats, or is it a Democratic Party of Guam list of Democrats that is to be used. I'm not clear on that, and I'm not sure which one they prefer to be used.
If I am a Republican and I want to support Lou and Josh, am I eligible to cast my vote in the Democratic primary?
That's a good question, and it would, we will look into it and see what happens.
So many unanswered questions. 4 months to sort this out. Is that enough time?
We always wish we have more time. We have very critical timeline. And one of the most critical for us, the Guam Election Commission was sued, is that ballots must be mailed out no later than 45 days before any election to our military and overseas voters.
Yeah.
And for the primary, that would be sometime in mid-July. The next regular meeting of the Election Commission is scheduled for May 5th. And a serious crash happened Wednesday in Manila involving a motorcycle. At around 1:30 Wednesday afternoon near the Route 10 mobile gas station, a man possibly in his late 20s or early 30s was taken to Naval Hospital Guam with CPR en route following a serious auto motorcycle crash. Also parked near the scene of the crash was a gray Nissan Cube, which appeared to have sustained damage. Roads were closed for a couple of hours as officers from the Guam Police Department Highway Patrol Division conducted their investigation. According to GFD spokesman Kevin Riley, an off-duty GFD emergency dispatcher initiated CPR on the scene before other first responders arrived. The condition of the motorcyclist is not known as of this time. And in our next story, Daniel Perez reports on the issue of homelessness on the island of Guam. Here's more.
From Ipao Beach to Paseo, you may even see some of the island's homeless in your own villages, but do you ever stop and wonder why they ended up that way? We spoke with one resident, Jonah Parajas, who shared why he's currently on the streets.
We have hardship everywhere, everywhere we go, and maybe our families don't click with one another with us, and we choose not to be a burden on anybody, so we just want to come out, and try and manage it ourselves.
Parajas said even though he is homeless, it doesn't mean he isn't getting any help. Right now, he's getting assistance from a new program and waiting on the completion of the new homeless shelter. As we reported, the Office of Homelessness Assistance and Poverty Prevention is setting up a new shelter in the Hagatnia area, and according to Parajas, that's where he'll be headed.
We just got into a program called HUTSA, and they help us with public assistance and housing, so I'm grateful for them.
Osapong Malon, another homeless resident, used to stay in a shelter run by Catholic Social Services, but it all went south when he was given a roommate.
When the guy come in my house, roommate, I don't like him. He always bothered me. I tell the office at the bottom, this guy, he always bothered me or take my stuff. I don't like it.
Malone added that even when he reported the disturbances to Catholic Social Services, they did nothing to help him with his bothersome roommate. In the end, it was Malone who decided to leave the shelter. He is, however, much more fortunate than some, as he still has a job to go to. The issue of homelessness on the island is very widespread, and almost everyone who steps foot outside their home sees it. Concerned resident Emily Rosebrand would like to see something done soon to help the islands less fortunate.
I hope that we can, do some things to combat it, like mental health services and, just more affordable housing as opposed to kind of pushing those people away because they need help. They just don't have the resources.
Daniel Perez reporting for KUAM News.
All right, thanks, Daniel. And over in the NMI, after months of gridlock, the legislature has finally passed a bill that fulfilled Governor Ralph Torres' promise to pay NMI retirees a bonus. This comes after he made that promise in December, just before the Christmas holidays. Here's more. The legislature at a compromise instead of at each other's throats.
We're finally coming together and finding a resolution to this matter. We've seen it go in numerous different directions, and it became really worrisome for our own retirees.
Retirees will get a $1,000 bonus after House Bill 22-95, as amended by the Senate, passed with 16 votes. Democrats say this was the right way.
In the form of legislation, as an amendment to the Budget Act, originating in the House as constitutionally required, identifying the sources of funding, and without granting unlimited 100% reprogramming power to the governor, which now the administration acknowledges, the Department of Finance acknowledges, was never necessary in the first place.
It will take just over $2.6 million to pay out the checks through a business unit with local funds. It now heads to Governor Ralph Torres' desk, where he can finally fulfill his Christmas promise. And during this month's Island Beautification Task Force meeting, Department of Public Works Director Vince Arriola gave an update on improvements to village roads as well as federal highway projects.
We've just finished Agate last week. We did about 5, if not 6 roads in Agate. And then we did 3 roads in Tamuning. In the Perrisville area, that was all completed. We are just wrapping up in Talopopo. I think we wrapped up over the weekend in Talopopo. We did some major roads, and the roads that we're repairing, as you know, Lieutenant Governor, these are some of the roads that have never been paved. Period.
Arriola says that Ipan will be the next village to see their roads paved. Then they'll make their way over to Zonya and then Jigo on the federal highway side. Paving in Marine Drive continues from Route 30 to Route 10, also known as Airport Road. Improvements to Isansong Road and Dedido is also underway. Arriola further added that construction on Route 5 will begin sometime in the summer, hopefully in June, and that's what's making headlines here at home. But now with more is your Chamorro News Update with Uncle Ken.
This news update is brought to you by Pacific Points. Do more, get more.
Buenas tardes to get some to be sa morgen ni KUAM News. Presenta ni Familian Mizo gi First Hawaiian Bank. Unsan seryoso na aksidente motorcycle sa masuseri gitalwan ni Merkulis, di Finimobo gas station gitalan Route 10 gita Mangilaw, ikasi launa media na ora. Untato ni kasi 20 80 anyos na edad, sa makoni Parenevo Hospital, matis matotso gi CPR. Ikrasa ng bagay motorcycle ng kareta. Stabro kay gilugar ni masuseri crash ang kulod apo na Nissan Cube nukulan madzulang. Uto mitalan para mas kitos oras na tempo bentra sa polisiya gini GPD Highway Patrol Division sa investiga aksidente. Sigon ni spokesman para Guam Fire Department si Kevin Riley, un off-duty na tao tayo Guam Fire Department Emergency Dispatcher sa tutuo ni CPR ang tinifan mati first responders gwati gisagan ni aksidente. Masasunto, si Justin James Tyron, 35 anyos na edad, sa Gimen and Magistrates na West, Jonathan Kwan, gi Superior Court, giagan Merkulis. Bento sa na hearing, apreba si Kwan emotion gin ni Public Defender pero natsuha gwi na kausa. Ti kwalifika si Tyron sa Police of Donya. During ni por KUAM, atawag si Tyron, ni 4 kwenta gi kada uno na premedan sa gudugrano na criminal sexual conduct. Ibiktima ni 13 anyos na edad, sa sangan na itakan bas ni Guyas Tyron, maski 40 bahid, desde na kasi 9 pa 10 anyos edad niya. Isugundo na biktima sa 12 anyos sa nasangan na Guida Loki na takan bus niya sa Tyron desde na 9 tan 11 anyos sa edad niya. Apo si Tyron 16,000 pesos na bail. Debi pagod pa na ligo otro na baga anti di zon na hearing gimen ang otro na Magistrates na West, Benjamin Season. Ito muna sunto gifinut sa morugin ni KUM News para pagod na Webes. Imapos na dosa ka ni eskwela sa kalamnampusing kubakaw mentas duri pesti at sa kudi salan mamanungo. Sigon nilay debi GDOE no managwa 180 na diyan pinanagwi. Lumais PPAJ exemption para isakan 2020 hasta 2021 tan 2021 hasta 2022 sa sakan eskwela siha. Kumbiyo na madiskuti gi Merkules yung miluluy ni Komite ng Edukasyon si Senadora Telina Nelson sa sempre ni nai GDOE ni adyo na exemption. Intensyon sa parumana valid and feria sa segon ni GDOE at sa estudyante ni mamna eskwela gi pasun niya ha sa timan malingo tempo ng leksyon bentas adyo man fafatay gi eskwela sa hunggan man malilingo oras leksyon niya. Manahanog wati biyo gi mina na reading da pro mabote gi después. Para Guam News Network, Gual Sikin Conception. Yasuto gi finutsamoro sa presenta sa ninafatto ni Familia Mizo gi First Hawaiian Bank.
Hello to the First Hawaiian Bank mobile app. Got a question about your finances? You've come to the right place. Bring all your accounts together, even those that aren't with us, and see the big picture, right down to the smallest detail. Unlock powerful tools like Insights and Money Map that help you save time and take control of your finances. When you connect accounts with the First Hawaiian Bank mobile app, it all starts with yes.
Join Nestor Lecanto for virtual in-depth discussions with the movers and shakers in our community every Wednesday on In Full Zoom. Presented by IT&D and Calvo Enterprises, Inc.
New Spicy Lovers Pizza from Pizza Hut. Hurts so good. With its spicy marinara and sliced red chilies. It's like a roundhouse kick to the taste buds. How's it looking? Don't be bashful with the fiery flakes now. I want it to be real spicy.
I haven't started yet.
Okay, I'm ready. The new Spicy Lovers Pizza. Get it while it's hot. You want respect? Red chilies get you respect. Knowing our pizza's the Hut.
Mariana's Irrigation and Landscape Superstore. Stop on by and visit our showroom today. We offer everyday low prices on all major outdoor power equipment like bush cutter, chainsaw, power washer, generators, and more. Need service, repair, maintenance? Well, check out Guam's best superstore only at Mariana's Irrigation and Landscape, located in Barragata along Army Drive between Submarina and Besta Market. Call 735-7446 for more information. Now shipping to surrounding islands. Mariana's Irrigation and Landscape Superstore.
Get the job done the right way by getting the right stuff at East West Rental Center. With years of experience helping builders, we definitely got what you need. Call 646-1463 or visit us in Upper Tumon. Open Monday to Saturday from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. and on Sundays from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
GU Self-Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's. We offer affordable rates, online payments, and auto bill pay for your convenience. Plus gate access daily from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Call us today at 648-7867 for more information. The relationship between Guam and Manila, Philippines is undeniable as we share similar cultural traditions, history, and heritage, with generations of Filipinos calling Guam home. KUAM presents a monthly look at the capital city featuring in-depth and engaging interviews on everything from medical tourism to new business and government leaders. Veteran newscaster Nestor Lecanto delivers Beyond Our Borders. This special program is brought to you by KFC and the Medical City, where patients are partners.
We're taking care of business with GTA on KUAM Digital. Tips and advice for your business to get more productive, efficient, and streamlined with pro tips, tools, and other services. We're navigating through the best practices in tech, operations, and beyond every month with the help of our friends at GTA on KUAM Digital. GTA, we start with you.
It's Feed Me Fridays on The Link. Good eats, good company, and beyond good chow with Team KUAM checking out Guam's most tantalizing, tempting menu items. Every Friday on The Link, listen on Breeze 93.9 FM or stream online. Brought to you by Devondale, real milk from free grazing cows.
Should I put my trust in you? Should I put my faith in you? Should I let you stick around? Should I let you float around? My desire was for us to live clean and strong. If we could go on in life to live and grow. But woman, you went away. You left me to stay. Now you're coming back to me. Oh, on your bended knees. Should I put my trust in you? Should I put my faith in you? Should I let you stick around? Should I let you float around? Should I let you float around, stick around, stay around?
Hey, good morning, Elway, Akeda.
Should I?
823 right here in the link. Good morning on you. Senator Teletidegui coming up. Here's something I missed, sir. Well, I was on leave. We did a story about the legendary Wednesday night market over at the Chamorro Village, which has not started up again. Right? The Mangilao night market, though, is up and running Thursday nights at the home of the Pika Festival in the beautiful village of Mangilao. Shout out to Mayor Al, who was working hard water blasting over there at the Mangilao Senior Center, the former site of the monoclonal antibody treatment clinic in Mangilao. Thank you, Mayor. So I did see there was, hold on, let me find this here. It's on KUM.com. Chamorro Village. Well, first of all, they've been struck by a rash of break-ins over there at the Chamorro Village. There's a story here filed by Isaiah Uggan. Will the iconic Wednesday night market be ready for the relaunch of the Chamorro Village at the Chamorro Village next week? It seems it may not be. Department of Chamorro Affairs President Melvin Wampet Borja has stated that some things still need to be worked out. There's a quote here: "To be completely honest," thank you for your honesty, Mel, "I have to say that it's not a guarantee. We still have to figure out a few things. I mean, we feel confident that we will be able to pull it off, but things can go wrong, definitely. So we're prepared either way, but our goal is that when we do reopen is to avoid a gap in service. What we don't want to do is open for a month and realize that we just don't have the revenue to support it." So there you go. But, if the Thursday night market at Mangilao is any indication, which is tonight, it's been popping, sir. I used to go there a lot pre-pandemic, before the pandemic. And it's on my way home, so sometimes when I'm heading home later, I'll drive by, and it has been pretty busy there. So can they do the Wednesday night market at Chamorro Village? I think so. I think people would show up, right? But hope they work that out. Good morning on you guys. Senator Teletidegui coming up here. There was a couple other things in the news at KUAM.com. It's my favorite website. Thank you guys on Facebook Live, by the way, for joining us here. Janet, Ron, Noreen, Fegger comments in. Good morning. Rosemary Laguatnia, thank you. Chris Cave, thanks for joining us this morning. And also we have a new one here, Jorenda Claire St. Nicholas. Thank you for joining us, Jorenda. You have other stories on KUAM.com here. You guys know that they had a job fair at the University of Guam yesterday. Shout out to my friends over at Jamaican Grill who are out there trying to hire people, guys. Yep. A good turnout here at the 2022 UOG recruitment drive held in person for the first time in 2 years, featuring over 40 employers from a variety of industries such as communications, hospitality, business, Gov Guam agencies, among others. So that was definitely good to see. Good morning on you guys. Senator Teletidegui again coming up. We'll talk about session. And then I know that she had indicated that there may be an override attempt as the senators had passed a measure, and this was relative to, I believe it was rules and regulations for adoption agencies setting up a shop on Guam. And I think the governor vetoed that bill. And so we'll talk with the senator about does she have the votes to override it. We'll take a quick break. It's 8:27, sir. We've also got the Guam Community College, Trina St. Augustine, coming up. But I just got something in my email. GCC is looking for a mascot. So we're definitely going to ask her about that. Back in the day, guys, might be showing my age a little bit here. Back in the day, they were the tradesmen, right? This is before when GCC was vocational technical high school. Do you guys know? They used to do that. It used to be a high school. And one thing that really sticks out about GCC is back in the day, for some reason, you were allowed to smoke cigarettes on the campus of GCC. Obviously, that's changed. But there was an email out of GCC here. The Guam Community College is calling all students, former teachers, alumni, and employees, or for all students, former students, alumni, and employees to join the GCC Mascot Search Contest. Submissions will be accepted from April 27th through May 27th here, so it started yesterday. The winning mascot will unify and embody the GCC school spirit and serve as a public symbol of GCC's continuing effort to equip our students with skills to achieve their life and career goals. The mascot will be aligned with GCC's current brand, helping define and identify our institution for both internal and external communities. A mascot design committee, has been established and has defined the college's brand personality as, okay, so if you're going to join this contest, guys, these are the themes that they're looking for you to build your mascot around. Prestigious, original, classic, striving for excellence, honoring our heritage, strength, power, friendly, but fierce. Wow. The winning mascot design must reflect this personality and incorporate the college's school colors of aqua blue and white. And there is a quote from GCC president, Dr. Mary Okada. Having a mascot for GCC will give our students, faculty, staff, and alumni a connection to something more than just the campus, but to the spirit and mission of GCC. Dr. Okada said, we're excited to see all the submissions and for the unveiling of a new mascot for GCC. Guam Community College has not had a mascot since the tradesmen. Yes, more than 3 decades ago. That's right. My Uncle Tom used to play football for the tradesmen. So remember that. Hey, we're going to take a quick break. Senator Teletaidegui has entered the building, if you will, and she's coming up next right here on the link. It is 8:30. Good morning.
Start off your middays with the menu on KUAM News Hotspot, your preview to the big news items. Broadcast on KUAM TV 8 weekdays at noon with live stream on our social media platforms, plus an encore at 5 p.m. on KUAM TV 11.
The menu, brought to you by King's Restaurant, always open, always local, and Ruby Tuesday Guam, home of the fresh Garden Bar.
At 8:31. Good morning. Welcome to the link. Senator Teletaidegui, the KUAM News Link Zoom Room. Good morning, Senator.
Good morning, Chris. It's so good to see you, and I'm sure everybody out there feels the same, to hear your voice again. And if they're watching on Facebook, see your gorgeous face. Okay, it sounds like I'm kissing up to you. Oh my gosh. I don't mean to kiss up to you at all, Chris.
No, please stop it some more, Senator. It's the time of the year.
I love that saying, sorry, but I didn't mean to do that. No.
Well, good morning.
You're an okay guy. You're an okay guy.
I try. My daughter says I'm funny handsome. I'm going with that.
Oh, funny handsome. Yeah. If anybody can bring a smile to me, and I'm sure everybody out there who's listening too, when they need to smile, they listen to you, because not only you bring some bad news, but you also bring the good news too, and you do it in a way that makes us all smile. Begins our day right, with a smile. Everybody should smile.
Thank you, Senator. Wow, we're recording this, right, sir? Okay, I got it. It's on the record, officially on the record.
Don't hold this against me now.
Well, Senator, we had Lacia Casil, the director of the Hagatnia, the HRA, the HRA, on earlier. She was pretty real. She said she anticipates you guys are going to vote down the Hagatnia master redevelopment master plan tomorrow. So she's already working on an informational roundtable hearing in a couple weeks. But just, I guess, if we could start with your concerns about the master plan.
I think it's not only my concerns, but many of us senators on the floor have a concern with this 200-plus page, plan that was put in front of us. And during the public hearing, there weren't that many people, as you know, showing up for public hearing. Usually about 4 senators or 3, and this is an important bill to pass. It's a $550 million project. It was once upon a time $1 billion project, but they put in front of us something to the range of $550 million. And we should be taking our time on this instead of passing it, especially when you're giving carte blanche to the Board of Hagatnia Restoration the authority to zone property without going through the process. All they have to do is have a public hearing, not only zone, but can condemn property. They have that authority to do so. And that's pretty scary, especially when you're passing this huge plan in Hagatnia, where a lot of the questions that we asked were not answered. So during the public hearing, I made mention that we should have a roundtable to completely discuss this thoroughly. And Senator Brown concurred with that as well. I mentioned when it was her turn to speak. This is something that's needed. We don't want to go down that road, Chris. We've been down that road with projects like Simon Sanchez, the Laddie Housing Project, and Guam doesn't have a good track record with following through with plans or even running facilities. Example, the receiverships from DPW to DOE to DOC to mental health. I think it's time that we don't rush these things through. We take our time, and I have to commend Lacia for trying very hard. She met with senators, sat down with them, tried to explain. But I think that the public needs to be involved, not just the senators, but the public has to see what's going on. And if we have this roundtable discussion, that's exactly what's going to happen. It's going to be on the air, on TV, on live stream, and everybody can listen in. So I'm glad she's moving in that direction and address those concerns.
What would you say, Senator, to those who would counter your sentiments you expressed and say that, this master plan took 25 years? It isn't rushed.
Well, 25 years with different administrations, with different directors involved. Yeah, it's something that should have been done a little bit sooner, but sometimes it's not their fault, those who are putting this plan together, because, for instance, we found out the Army Corps of Engineers had to step back from providing the flood mitigation report and study. And that's very important. We were told in Committee of Rules that they had to step back because they were doing the infrastructure. I'd like to see that letter, because if anybody who does any reporting on shoreline areas, it comes from Army Corps of Engineers. And why aren't they doing this survey, this plan or survey on the flood mitigation? So that there's, like I said, a lot of unanswered questions at this point. And for those who, for 25 years, who talked about this has been in the plan, one of the biggest concerns are the 8 components that they put in at the beginning of page 1-1, and you can see it on the website in the committee report. They have 8 components, yet only 3 were included in the attachments. And it makes you wonder, excuse me, it makes you wonder, okay, 3, well, what happened to the remaining 5? Why aren't they incorporated in this plan? And their comment was, oh, it's a living document. So it makes you think, okay, it's a living document. That means after we accept this plan, you're going to be able to just approve the other 5 components without legislative approval? Nobody could answer that. And one of them included finances. One of them included the finances. There was another one that was really, well, the flood mitigation, of course. It wasn't even in there. Of all things, the flood mitigation plan was not there. So I think they need to go back to the drawing board, or at least sit down with us and give us a better plan, during the roundtable on how to move forward, so that when they come back to this legislature for approval, they've done their due diligence, so other than that.
So what kind of questions are you going to ask in the roundtable hearing in a couple weeks?
Well, I'd like to see the document from the Army Corps of Engineers explaining to us why they had to pull out from doing a study on flood mitigation. I'd like to see that the financial plan, how are they, right now, if we pass this plan, it gives them carte blanche to go out and borrow funding on this and use the 35% of public property in Hagatnia as collateral without going through the legislature. That's pretty scary. We could lose Serena Park. We could lose, our plaza, because they weren't able to pay on it. Or it, of course, it'll force the hand of Guam to start going into the general fund to pay for it, because we don't want to lose the park. Or so there's a process, I think, that was taken out of what Hagatnia Restoration should be doing. And that is, when it comes to zoning, follow the zoning process. It's not just a matter of, having one public hearing and then make the decision amongst members of the commission. Condemning land the same way, especially finances. So the finance section of it, I think we're going to try and do something with the current legislation, the enabling legislation that governs Hagatnia Restoration, to change that. Because right now, technically, they can do that zoning right now without the process. All they need to do is, and they can take land. And that's all they have to do is to have a public hearing.
So do you think that's going to be part of the cleanup, is to go in and maybe put some of these legislative checks on a lot of the powers that they have?
Right, absolutely. And I think also it's going to help us see the path forward on, a step-by-step project, how we're going to fund this, most especially how we're going to fund this $550 million giant. Don't get me wrong, it's something I'd like to see in Hagatnia. I'd like to see less, making the Hagatnia a cement, location, with everything cemented. I'd like to maintain that island feel in our capital city. So, so hopefully we can come to an agreement, and everybody put their 2 cents in, as well as the public, most especially those living in Hagatnia. I'm hoping that we can have some residents who living in Hagatnia also attend the roundtable discussion. So I'm hoping the invitation will go out to quite a few people. So that's it.
Yeah, I mean, I can see. I've been to, I forget where I've been, but I've been to places where they have the river walks, and I could see the idea of how it's going to change the capital city. What I don't know is if it's going to happen in my lifetime. Right.
Yeah, same here. I don't know, but let's.
I mean,
let's
is it going to be another 25 years or what?
Yeah, well, let's do a plan that doesn't end up costing us more than $550 million. And well, I don't know if that the delay on it may cost us because the price is going up. If inflation will go up, but let's not pay additional money for a mistake. So.
Talk about that override attempt. So can you just give us a little backstory, Senator, on this bill? And this was, I said it earlier, relative to rules and regs for adoption agencies setting up shop on Guam?
Right. Yes. We passed the bill on the floor. It garnered 9 votes. And this bill was very simple. It was introduced by myself, Speaker Chalahi, Senator Brown, and Sabina Paris. And the bill just simply requires anybody who wants to open up an adoption agency that they have to go through Rev and Tax and get clearance there, and then go to Rev and Tax and go to Department of Public Health and Social Services and get clearance there, and then go to Rev and Tax, and from there they would get their business license. It's like any other type of business license that you receive. If you're opening a restaurant, if you're opening a business, you have to go to these regulatory agencies to get checked off before you get your license. Well, currently right now, anybody can come into this island and open up an adoption agency and not require any background checks, especially you're dealing with our most vulnerable. All you have to do is go up to Rev and Tax and get a service license, and that's it. So the bill has that requirement. They must get approved by public health before getting their license. So 9 senators voted. Those who voted against it were Senator San Augustine, Senator Barnes, Senator Amanda. They voted against it. I'm not sure. I think those two, there was only 9, but you never know how many's in session anymore.
Yeah. Quite a few absences, I hear. Senator,
now she vetoed it.
Yeah, so the governor vetoed it, but can we go back just a little bit? So all of this kind of started with this this adoption agency that opened up on Guam, right? This is the Ohana Adoption Agency, and so this kind of all started with this company coming here, right? So what is the big issue with you trying to set in procedures for them to be licensed? Because it kind of seems like it's a no-brainer, but what's the pushback?
Well, that's the $1 million question. I mean, I can think of some scandalous theories, but I have no idea why they would not want to ensure that our children of Guam, especially those who are most vulnerable, and I don't understand why. It boggles me why they would hold this back. Senator Mary Torres introduced a bill. I mean, it was even in the media that that she's putting the cart before the horse, allowing this adoption agency to be part of public health's board to discuss where children shall go. And it just, that was a battle in itself last year, a huge battle. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to, along with other senators, wasn't able to block that bill. So what I did was introduce another bill to at least correct that, some of the current law. It's just, I'm sorry, it's emotional because I've worked very hard on this, very hard to protect our children here, especially those who are being adopted and every time I think of the that story in the Marshall Islands about human trafficking and how a company just came into their island, opened up, made friends with the locals there, and then opened up an adoption agency with no regulations or anything like that, and ended up, it was a business for human trafficking. And he was basically, selling these children who were born there. And finally, he was caught in, I think it was Arkansas. And so it's just so disheartening, but I'm not going to give up the fight. And I hope the people of Guam will not give up the fight. And I'm asking everyone, please, if this one simple bill that would at least provide some kind of protection, as simple as this, to write to your senators, please override this bill that the governor vetoed, Bill 239. Please override Bill 239-36. And we can all make a difference, because right now certain laws are in place that were put in last year that leaves the door open for human trafficking. And this company is on island right now advertising, come give us your child. If you don't want your child, we'll take it. And makes you wonder. This is so sad. Public health is doing a great job when it comes to, their part in fostering children, placing children, and reuniting them with their parents, I just, I don't know what else to say, but I ask the people of Guam, help me in this fight, please, and write to your senators and please override Bill 239.
Do you have the votes, Senator?
Right now, I had 9 individuals voting yes on this bill, but one of them was Senator Peter Tulahi, but I believe he is not on island right now and will probably be going to vote tomorrow or tomorrow, Monday. So that would take away 1. So the only other people who voted no on this bill was Senator St. Augustine, Senator Tina Barnes, and Amanda Shelton. And Senator Talina Nelson wasn't there during the voting of this bill. I guess last session, she was not on island. She's here now. And I'm hoping, she's an advocate for children. I mean, she put out this bill. I mean, for the unborn child, she's an advocate. She's an advocate for protecting our kids. So I'm hoping that she has an opportunity to vote on this bill as well, the override on this bill. So those are the 4 people who I'm hoping will consider this.
Well, good luck, Senator.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And, I'm not going to give up. I'll keep trying. So even though I sound like I'm defeated here, sometimes, usually I'm up, right? I'm up and running. But,
just have some more coffee. That works for me.
Yeah, I think I need something to prep me up. But, I'll keep going, regardless. They might have punched me right here, but I'll stand right back, dust it off. They say dust it off and keep moving. So that's what I'll do.
Thank you, Senator. Have a good day.
Well, create a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
There you go, Minority Senator Tello Taitagui. Quick break, and we're coming back with GCC next, right here on the link. It's 8:51. Good morning.
It's Customer Appreciation Month.
Start off your middays with the menu on KUAM News Hotspot, your preview to the big news items. Broadcast on KUAM TV 8 weekdays at noon, with live stream on our social media platforms, plus an encore at 5 p.m. on KUAM TV 11.
The menu, brought to you by King's Restaurant, always open, always local, and Ruby Tuesday Guam, home of the Fresh Garden Bar.
Good morning. Let's bring it home. 8:55, Thursday, April 28th. Cover Me, brought to you by Burger King's coming up. But first, let's go to the Guam Community College, where they just announced this morning they are looking for a mascot. I'll talk about that tomorrow, too. But let's get some success stories on here. We have from the Guam Community College culinary program a whole bunch of awesome people. Just correct me if I'm wrong. Are some of you still in the program? Are you all still in the program? Good morning.
Good morning. These students are graduating this semester.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right. Kennelyn is with the culinary program. She's not a student, but the other four are. And we want to talk about this great program where students can go to this culinary program and end up graduating into jobs in the private sector. And that's kind of what we're talking about this morning, right, Kennelyn?
Yes, correct.
Okay. So let's hear it. Good morning, Ira. Is it Ira?
Yes. Hi, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Rovalyn.
Good morning.
Good morning, Isaac.
Good morning.
Good morning, Nadine.
Good morning.
Right on. Let's talk about this program then. I guess we could just go round robin. We'll start with you, Ira. How has this program helped you get ready for a career, right, in the food industry?
For me, this program helped me a lot, especially financially, because in the beginning, I was worried about, how am I going to get to college with the expenses and everything. But with this program, I was able to finish almost half of the year with them covering for my tuition and everything else.
Isaac?
For me, it really taught me so much in a sense that it really helped me in my career, in my job. It's like it really helped me understand better how certain things are, basically is. And then financially, like what Ira said too, it really helped me pay for my tuition, especially for a year, because I wasn't sure how to pay for it in the beginning. So,
Nadine?
Just like everyone else, I thought a lot about my finances and how I would be able to pay for college. So it was a good thing that Chef Kenny showed me that this program was a thing. I was able to pursue what I wanted to do without spending anything, basically. And also, this program gave me my second job. I wasn't working before.
Wow. Wait, that's awesome to hear, Nadine. Rovalyn?
Just like everyone else, it helped me financially because I wasn't really sure how to apply for FAFSA or anything. And it also taught me the technical and hands-on skills that I needed for the workforce. And it's also how I got my third job. And I'm really grateful for it because I learned a lot more than I expected.
Chef Kenny, can we talk about, because for a lot of the young people on our island, education can be a privilege because they don't have the money to achieve an education. But you guys, through the Department of Interior, have this great program where the first year of culinary students' education is covered by DOI. We're going to pop the poster up with the info, but Chef Kenny, can you tell us about that?
Yes, so through the Department of Interior Assistance Program, it provided our students the first year of tuition and fees for the Guam Community College Culinary Arts program. The students that you see here are the first cohort that are graduating, so they got 30 college credits for free. They met the requirements, and basically all the tuition, their supplies, knife kits, uniforms, lab fees was paid for by this program.
That's amazing. I wanted to, because I got a lot of friends. I mean, who doesn't, right? We stay in the islands. Everybody loves to cook. And I sent this poster around to a lot of my friends on WhatsApp yesterday. I wanted to talk to the students and tell me how you got into culinary. What did you do before it? Because I know people who are into cooking, right? And they always wonder, gosh, what would it be like to go to culinary school? So what was it like before you guys went to school? What prompted you to join the program? And how have you changed in your skill set and your love of cooking? How's it changed over the last few years? And we'll go to start with you, Ira.
So for me, it started in high school, joining the Pro Star program under Chef Kennelyn. So for me, it just started as a hobby. And then from trying out to see what the program has in store for me,
From there, I was able to do my internship with the Hyatt Regency, which where I'm working now and being with them for almost 4 years now. And for me, cooking is my first love. So when I heard about the program, I was like, oh, this is where I can grow and maybe pursue this as my own passion and my long-term career.
Isaac?
For me, it started back in ProStart under Chef Kenny Lennon as well. It was not really a hobby in the say. I just really love to cook. And from that though, hearing that this program was, available in the beginning, I took it, and then from now and today, I still love doing culinary.
Nadine?
So ever since I was a kid, I actually always loved baking. And then in high school, I joined ProStart to pursue the culinary industry. And then afterwards, after high school, I was just thinking to myself, like, is this something that I want to continue doing? And since this opportunity came about, I decided to just go for it. And through this program, I was able to not only learn more skills with baking, I was able to work on my cooking skills.
Wow, Nadine, that's awesome. I'm the other way around. I don't like baking because it's too precise, right? It's like you need exactly a cup of this or exactly that. But with cooking, I never use a measuring cup. I'm just like, so that's interesting that you did it in the reverse because I'm scared of baking. Ravelin, how about you? What's your story?
So I actually started ProStart in high school, and I thought it was really fun, but I was hesitant to join the college program because I felt like I wasn't really capable enough at first. But when I was offered this opportunity to join the program, of course, I didn't want to let it go. And if I hadn't taken that program, I wouldn't have found out that I love pastry so much. And now I know what to do in my future of becoming a pastry chef.
That's awesome, Chef Kenny. So all 4 of these students came from the high school programs, and you guys are really successful in the high schools where you have these culinary programs, and that's evidenced by, I know before the pandemic we were going off and we were just like winning competitions all over the world, right?
Yes, that's correct. All the local high schools here have a ProStart program, and it's a 3-year program which teaches our students the culinary foundations, not just culinary, but everything about food service management and what it takes to be successful in the industry.
Right, and I know talking with the chefs down at the culinary program, they talk about, like you just said, kind of like the business side of the kitchen, right? Price points and all that stuff, right? So how do the students handle that? Because I know for me, like, and it sounds like all 4 of you really, really love cooking, but then did you know that you were going to have to get into that kind of side of the kitchen? Ira?
Actually, for me, I thought it was just going to be about cooking and everything, but then getting into the real world, I'm like, oh, it's not just about that. There's more to it. The pressure was there, but it's fun.
I wanted, Isaac, go ahead.
Oh, no, couldn't say, sir, sorry.
No, I wanted to, do you ever get students, Chef Kenny, who, because all of them said they loved cooking before they started the program, do you ever get those students who are like, I can't cook, I've almost burned the kitchen down, I want to join this program so I can learn to cook? And do you end up with those people becoming like success stories and good students?
Absolutely, yes. We get a diverse group of people in our programs. People, students from the ProStart program. We get people from outside communities. We get people of all different kinds of ages, and each one of them has a different motivation, has different interest in why they want to pursue the program. And so, if whether you want to just learn how to bake or cook, or you want to do this as a long-term career, we support you, and we're going to teach you everything that we can. Our chefs, they engage themselves in a lot of professional development. So the techniques and preparations and the information, the knowledge that these students are learning are up to date and industry standard.
That's amazing. And when I was younger, wasn't too long ago, but we didn't have culinary school on Guam. And if you wanted to, and we used to watch Food Network, and it was just like an impossible dream. You would have to go off island. You'd have to go to the States to go to culinary school. And I remember when this program first started, it's so great to talk to you guys now that it's been up and running and it's a huge success. And we should get more people in this program, especially with this DOI first year free Chef Kenny. Do you have a phone number? We did pop up the poster, but there are additional ways to get a hold of the program and find out more about this great opportunity?
Yes, they can actually email our culinary email address. It's culinary.info@guamcc.edu. Or if they would like to set up a kitchen tour or an advisement meeting with myself or the chefs, they can actually email that email or email mine, kennylyn.miranda@guamcc.edu. Yes.
Thank you, Chef Kenny. Thank you, students, and congratulations on your impending graduation. Unmute.
Thank you so much.
Hey, thank you.
Of course, good luck, and I'm sure in your houses, are you guys like the ones who have to cook all the time for your families?
Sometimes.
Default. Thank you, Chef Kenny.
Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity.
All right, of course, anytime. There you go. That's awesome. Yeah, the culinary program, Chef Paul and the gang over there, Chef Bertrand, they're a bunch of great people doing great things, man. And the students, I've done a bunch of different videos with KUAM over at the culinary program, and it's always great to get in there. I mean, to see how passionate they are. I've been able to judge a few of the contests that they have in-house there at the culinary program. Yeah, so again, to see how passionate they are, to see how adult they are in, getting around the kitchen and doing all those things, but most especially to eat their cooking. Chef's kiss. Awesome. It's 9:06. Good morning on you. Thursday, April 28, 2022. Let's go ahead and get into Cover Me. Wow, we got a bunch of great Cover Me treats for you guys coming up here as Burger King celebrates 33 years with the new Whopper Melts available for a limited time only. I keep seeing the pictures of these. They look absolutely delicious. I know they love them over there at the Culinary Academy, too, at GCC. So thank you again to Rudy and the gang at Burger King for continuing to support the local music through this segment and other great ones like Local Music Mashup. And, of course, we had a great long history of Burger King and Live Local Fridays. Let's get into Cover Me, sir. What are we going to do here for Cover Me? Let's go do. There was one that Uncle Ken Conception was able to get. Yeah, this is a band now. If you guys remember the Casuals, the Radiants, right? That kind of time period in Guam music history. There was also another band that was very popular back then called Friends. And Friends recently did a reunion concert virtually. I thought that was pretty cool. And we were able to get a couple of the performances here. So we are going to give you this for today's Burger King. Guys, we're gonna Burger King to copyright end the show right after this. Thank you guys so much. Join me tomorrow on the link. I know we're getting Senator Sabina Parrish. She's got updates on Rev and Tax, Department of Labor, of course, environment. I'm pretty sure we'll talk a little bit about procurement, as she is the procurement chair. That's coming up tomorrow, and a whole lot more on the show. Hey, Guahusi Chris, thank you guys again so much for jamming with me on this Thursday morning. Until a gupa esta, adios.